Hi, welcome back to Reddit Stories. I'm Shane. I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
And
today's theme. Am I the asshole for trying to reconnect with my childhood best friend?
Did you? Is this you? Did you do this? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get some context.
I don't know
clues.
how you'd be an asshole for that, but I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
So this is a 26-year-old woman. I am marrying the love of my life, and we've begun wedding preparations. While making the list, I reminisced over my childhood best friends, specifically my old best friend, Mona, who's also a 26-year-old woman, and decided that I'd like her to attend. To explain, Mona and I were best friends growing up. We shared the same childhood friends despite me living out of the city for most of the year with my father and only being in the same state for a few months of the summer. We had a falling out partway through high school, and she ceased to talk to me. I told my fiance that I wanted to reconnect with Mona, so I reached out to our mutual childhood friends and asked if they still kept in touch. One of them did, and gave me her number. I texted and said I was in town and wanted to meet up to catch up and talk. Fast forward a few days, Mona's come to meet my fiance and I at a local shop for coffee, and I introduced them and told her that I'd like her to attend my wedding. She stared at me and said that she wasn't expecting my wedding to be the topic of catching up. She coldly said that she thought I had reached out to apologize about what happened when we were younger. I was confused. She callously said, in front of my fiance, that she stopped talking to me and cut contact with me because of what happened with her boyfriend when we were in high school. My fiance asked what happened, and she told him that I kissed her high school boyfriend during a summer that I was in the state and stole him from her, leading her boyfriend to dump her over text. She went on to say that if I didn't have an apology, she wasn't interested in speaking with me. She excused herself and paid for her meal. When we got home, I was fuming that Mona was still upset by something that I couldn't even remember and that she misconstrued. My fiance told me that I didn't mention this stealing boyfriend thing and asked if I ever apologized for it. I admitted that at the time I didn't, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. We were kids, it was a high school relationship, they were only dating for 8 months, and he made the first move. My fiance told me I was the asshole. I think otherwise because it was literally a blip of time so long ago, and I assumed Mona would have understood my side. It was over 10 years ago. We were 15. Am I the asshole?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like how she's like, just get over it.
Yeah.
It was only 240 days of your life with this person.
Yeah. It was nothing. That was some quick math. I feel like it's not that big of a deal to just apologize at that point.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
It sounds like she just doesn't want to apologize now. She's like, hey, it wasn't that big of a deal, but yet if it's not that big of a deal, then why can't she apologize?
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's also just kind of weird that, like, she doesn't, like, she's like, it's not a big deal. We were so young. Like, that somehow negates the fact that it does sound like she stole that person's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't even remember it. Like, for you, this was a big day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday.
It's also specifically, they stopped being friends because of this incident.
Yeah.
This was the last time they
So why
talked.
doesn't she realize that? Why doesn't she connect those dots?
I feel like because that's the simple thing of coming back and be like, hey, I know we ended on weird terms, and I'm so sorry about that, but we're different people now.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see what our friendship could be now. I feel like that's your easy in.
And that's simple. How long would that have taken? 20 seconds?
It was just like, yeah.
And she's also like, she misconstrued this thing that I don't even remember at all. So how could you know that she misconstrued it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I don't remember this thing that you're getting completely wrong.
Yeah.
It also feels like she's kind of not really caring about this friend and more like wanting the nostalgia factor for her wedding, maybe? Like,
It's like what her friend represents to her.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, memories. I want to have those at my wedding. I'll throw
Yeah.
those in there.
Yeah, like
without
you're,
actually
like
considering.
you're a freaking prop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like a little collectible.
Yeah. When we reconnected, I should not have bothered, communicating or apologizing for any of our history, and I should just
No.
get over it.
Yeah, get over it. It was, look, yeah, we worked together for 12 years. Who cares?
Yeah,
Get over it.
There's some comments here.
Okay.
It was over a decade ago, and also it was her who was hurt, not me. So surely she must be over it by now. That's someone doing quotes.
Okay,
That's what she's saying. Someone says, still upset by something I couldn't even remember and that she misconstrued. Girl, pick a side because that just gave me whiplash. Yeah, exactly. As you pointed out.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens a lot in these Am I the Asshole stories. They trip up over their own words and they'll...
Because they're not telling the truth.
Yeah,
they're not being completely...
She either does remember it. She probably does remember it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, they're just not being reliable narrators.
She literally knew that they were dating for 8 months, that he made the first move, all of these. She remembered all these specific details.
Yeah.
She vividly remembers this.
Yeah.
I think she also saw this as an opportunity to just kind of like let this guilt float away and be like, yeah, it didn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Well, even posting it was her trying to get other people to be on her side about it so
Right.
she didn't feel any.
Exactly.
She's just not
Think about
accepting responsibility.
Did she do any follow-up or anything?
No follow-up on that
It was
one.
like, did not get the
No.
support that I needed. Going
No, I
somewhere
think
else.
she was, the verdict was asshole, so I think she left. I think
Yeah,
she was like,
yeah.
"All right, I'm done. And that got cross-posted on Am I the Devil, which is where the worst Am I the Asshole stories go.
I wouldn't qualify it as the worst. Not anywhere near.
Just ones where they're clearly the person posting is
Yeah.
like clearly the asshole.
Yeah.
Today I fucked up by not looking before I sat down. Floor 8 of the place of my employment, inside the men's shitter. I'm sitting there, doing my sit-down business because the boss makes $1, I make a dime. I've just finished the dirty work and I'm about to perform my ablutions, which is, I suppose, cleaning yourself. But I delay it because it's a paid-to-shit thing, dicking around on Reddit a bit. At this point, I feel something jump onto my balls. Something I had never hoped I would ever experience, let alone talk about on the internet. I shriek. Not a barbarian shriek, not a Viking shriek. Psycho shower scene shriek. A huntsman spider has crawled out of the toilet bowl and jumped onto my low-hanging fruit. This is an Australian for sure. Like, I mean, it's a huntsman, but the wording now makes sense. I bat the spider off, smacking myself in the nuts, keeling over in pain. Spider dead. Good news. My banshee wail has not gone unanswered. Bad news. Someone comes into the bathroom and knocks on the stall door. Mate, are you all right? Have you fallen over? I'll call an ambulance. No, fine. Everything is good. Just slipped. Fine. No need to call an ambulance. You can leave now. I flushed the world's smallest sexual predator to try and retain some of my inner pride, wash my hands, and make the very, very long walk back to my desk. My manager's desk isn't too far from the bathrooms, and he comes up to me afterwards. What happened in there? Is everyone all right? Yeah, everyone's fine. And then I make the dumbest decision of my life and explain to him what had happened. And the audacity of the man. He laughs. He laughs so hard, he has to sit down so he doesn't hurt himself. His hyena, kookaburra hybrid laughter has gotten the attention of some of the other members of my team. They're looking to get in on the funny joke. Boss man wheezes, get him to tell them holy shit. And because I'm incredibly susceptible to peer pressure, I tell them, like a fucking gimp.
Oh my God.
Damn, okay. I'm going to skip past most of the laughter because it went on for what felt like forever. I come back from lunch, and Bossman and 2 other members of my team come up to me as I'm sitting back down at my desk, getting ready to get back to work. Bossman is holding a piece of paper. Look, we need to have a chat about something. I've brought 2 of your friends in the team as support since this is obviously not something that's easy to talk about. I am confused. I have a blank HR report here. I'll need you to fill this out. You confided in me that you were sexually harassed in the workplace, and it's my duty of care to make sure the poopatrator is brought to justice. Under the space where it says, which hand did they assault you with? Just put ×8. We understand this is a traumatic experience for you, and I just want you to know that every resource we have is here for you. I will just say, based on every Australian I've ever met, this makes so much sense.
What?
Like
Wait.
a huntsman spider, which are massive.
Wait. Is it this big?
Yes, huntsman spiders are the biggest spiders in the world. Huntsman spiders' average body size is 1 inch. Average leg span is 3 to 5 inches. So their body is an inch around. But overall, they are bigger than your hand. Like they are, you know, relatively. So this spider could have really fully
Grab the ball.
fully clutched.
Really?
Fully clutched.
It was like, yeah! Yay! Take me home!
I believe they are relatively harmless to people. Relatively.
Not to balls, though.
Like they're not venomous or massively, like they're not a dangerous spider. They're just friggin' huge.
Here's what I'm confused about. The ending. Was that like serious or
No,
was
they're
he
fucking with him. They're fucking with him because they said, hey, with the hand, what
Yeah,
hand
yeah,
did they
yeah.
use? It's like eight hands.
Wow, they really like kept it going for him, huh?
I just can't get over the initial like claw grab that it must have gotten.
Yeah,
on
like the
those.
boss and all them making fun of him, I think is, like I said,
Hilarious.
based on the Australians I've known, it makes sense. At least an American point of view of Australia, it's like, that's what Australia, like,
They're
there's
joshing
spiders
around.
all over the place, and they're like, oh, this spider get ya? Well, we got an HR report for you. You gotta sign it.
That's so true. Actually,
Yeah.
when you say it like that, now I'm like, oh, that makes total sense.
It's a funny joke.
Why is it?
But he
when
shouldn't have told what happened in the bathroom. But I understand.
Oh,
that-
I would be telling
I
everyone.
would. I would be telling a random person on the street.
I would be telling people for the rest of my life that a huntsman spider clutched
Grabbed
my
my
balls.
balls.
I just immediately go to visuals and I start imagining this man's balls, and I don't want to be there.
Well,
so
that's fair. Don't picture the balls.
that's all I can see.
I will say it is an innate fear. Speaking as a man, of if, and I think this goes for anyone, of like just a bug being in the toilet and like crawling up.
I
Like
stare at the toilet before I go.
Oh,
there.
I look. I can't imagine not looking.
Oh yeah.
And a huntsman spider's so big, you'd think.
I told you that one time that I heard a woman, she sat on poop at a Whole Foods. I was on the East Coast and I went in there and she was with her son and I don't know who did it, her son or the person before, but she went, oh my God, I sat on someone's poop. It was like a little log of poop must have been sitting there. And
Not
she
a
must have
little
been
log.
so mom and busy. She was probably just like, gotta get the pants off and sit, and it's just a,
No, I absolutely
and I could
assess.
hear the whole thing.
I'm also the type that in a public bathroom, I will like check a stall to be like, is this the stall I'm using?
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'll go to a different stall.
Oh no, I'm shopping in the bathroom. I'm picky. Like if there's a drop.
So now the title of it is Not Looking Before I Sat Down. But I should point out, he was sitting there for a while before this happened. I have a feeling maybe it was underneath the toilet seat or something.
Okay, well now that's a new fear that you can't just set up real estate on the toilet.
I have seen videos of people walking into a stall and lifting the toilet seat and spiders.
I don't
I'm
like
sorry,
that.
sorry to ruin everyone's life. That's how spiders work.
I guess we can't freaking poop anymore.
Some comments. Flushing the world's smallest sexual predator and the HR forum put this story over the top. Someone said, such an Australian today, I fucked up. Someone said, thank you for renewing my mental subscription to be terrified of spider poopetrators every time you sit on a toilet. OP responded, mate, I've been needing to shit ever since I got home, and I'm having nom flashbacks every time I look at my toilet.
Oh my
if
God.
If I've got to live with this fear, so does everyone else.
Perpetrator is so
Dude,
good.
I do wonder how often this happens in Australia. You know, it's such a like trope. It's such a trope here in America of like there's snakes and spiders everywhere. But I went to Australia for 10 days several years ago, and I was in Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast. I don't think I saw a spider the entire time.
Were you
Now,
on
I
a
was
tour
in-
bus the whole
I was
time?
in the I was in the city, like staying in hotel rooms and stuff. So maybe I need to be out, like more in the
Yeah.
suburbs.
Maybe they were clawed to your balls already.
Maybe they were already on my balls.
they were
never
on
thought
that
about
Maybe
whole
they're
trip.
just there every single day.
They were
know.
with you.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, little buddy, let's go to work.
Okay.
Hop on.
All right. Am I the asshole for taking the longer route to spend more time with her? Okay. Interesting.
I hate, okay, so pause. It's funny, in these stories, I feel like the ones that have the most innocent titles ever always have the most messed up shit in
The
them.
most insane.
It's like, am I the asshole for taking the longer
It's-
ride? It's like, that sounds so innocent, and it's
Nick
just gonna be the
sugarcoating.
most sociopathic, like,
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
All
go.
right, let's see it. All right, so you already think this person's an asshole.
I do 100%.
Am I the asshole for taking the longer route? Absolutely. No, you need to say some fucked up shit in the title. Okay, here we go. I, a 19-year-old male, work a full-time job in the tech industry. My role is 100% remote, so I rarely have a reason to go outside. However, after recording data on my personal life, I concluded that my social life was in a poor state. As a result, I decided to pursue hobbies that would allow me to befriend people my age and meet women. One such hobby led me to connect with a group of physically active young adults. I was instantly taken by a woman, 22 female, Amira, in the group. She is slim with a small waist and perfectly round breasts.
No!
The cherry on top is her face. Her sense of humor is rather childish, but I was still fascinated. One morning, 6 of us went hiking together. We decided to hold a mini competition. We'd go off into pairs and choose 3 different routes to complete the trail. Whichever pair completed the trail first would be crowned the winner. I knew the route well as I had studied the area the night before. However, Amira wasn't familiar with the trail at all. I volunteered to be her guide and companion for the competition. Our only aid was physical maps. As soon as we embarked on the journey, I decided that it would prove fruitful to seize this opportunity to get to know her. I purposefully chose a long, complex detour so we could spend more time together. At the start, we made a great conversation and I found out a lot about her. However, as time went by, she grew more frustrated. She kept looking at the map and insisting we're going the wrong way. I told her that the maps were not accurate as they didn't account for path closures and other factors. This was not the truth. I know. After a while, she grew more stressed and claimed she needed the toilet. We did find a place and she could relieve herself, and this seemed to have given her some peace. After about 6 hours, the trail itself was roughly 3 hours, we started making our way back. Amira had already communicated with the group and began accusing me of taking unnecessary detours. I simply pointed out her desirable physical features and the impact they have on me. I thought she would be pleased to hear these compliments, but she was not. She told me to stop describing her at all and that she doesn't want to hear about my biological responses. She did not speak to me for the rest of our journey. I've since been kicked out of the group. In fact, everyone in the group has labeled me all sorts of things. Amira described me as a selfish, weird asshole and asked me to stay far away from her. I suspect these feelings are temporary and born out of confusion more than anything. Am I the asshole for attempting to nurture our connection with the landscape serving as a beautiful backdrop to what could have been? Or should I have not used this particular activity to carry out my plan?
I rest my case.
Oh.
Dude, the red flag for me in the title was when he said, with her? I'm like, oh, this man thinks he's like poetic as and he's got a distorted outlook on this situation.
Yeah, you know, I have a pretty strong stance on lying, and so any sort of lying, there's a lot.
This was technically.
But I'm gonna say lie. Like let's take out everything else.
Sure.
Let's take it. I'm saying this person's the asshole just for lying, and
right.
when it's like if you take a detour because you want to hang out with a person.
This was technically kidnapping, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate how right you were.
As soon as you read the title, I was like, this is about to be insane. Weird, insane.
Yeah, that was sadistic.
The descriptions in here. So he got out into the middle of the woods and then described what he liked about her physical features.
And how his body responded to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I do not want to think about how he described her to her face, because his descriptions on Reddit are pretty rough. Oh my God.
And it's always like you say, when the OP is always trying to tell the story in their best light possible. So we don't really, like, imagine how even worse and even weirder and creepier it was. Like, because the fact that she was right off the bat, like, started accusing him, like, eventually started accusing him of detours and stuff. And like.
And then he lied and was like, no, it's this. And he made her feel, he was trying to gaslight her. And it's like, no, dude, like, oh my God, like.
So bad.
The verdict is asshole. Here's some comments. You're the asshole, a massive one. You tricked a woman into spending 6+ hours alone in the woods with you while you make her uncomfortable with weird and unwanted advances. In what universe is that a good flirting strategy? Someone else said, you're the asshole so far out of line, you placed your interests above her comfort and enjoyment of the day. You're the asshole. Good God. Just the way you describe her. She is slim with a small waist and perfectly round breasts. Stop right there, bro. I would have felt totally creeped out and Prob would have punched you in the throat, LOL. Never do this again. OP responded, I struggled to see the issue with that description.
Hello?
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean,
She's got some issues.
that too, but something I want to add. I don't know. This is also a personal, because I understand, because I've not been in this place, but I remember in my early 20s out in LA feeling very alone and being like, I was like, meeting friends and dating is really hard in this world. I think if you're going into these meeting groups and stuff with the purpose of like, I want to find a person to go on a date with, I think you're off to a bad start. And I'm saying this as, frankly, weirdly, as dating advice. If you're feeling alone and wanting to find like a partner, make your top priority meeting friends and go to these and try to meet friends and try to form those connections and be patient with this. If you try to force this, I mean, this is the absolute worst thing that can happen, but like on much more small, everyday ways, this can happen.
Yeah.
If you're going into these types of things with it is a predatory mindset.
It is,
I am going in there,
yeah.
I'm trying to find a woman.
Well,
That's
yeah.
a bad mindset to be in, and it's gonna make you feel more alone, because it's not gonna work. Try to go in and just form connections.
Well, yeah. What's unfortunate is he didn't even realize that he was going in the right direction. He joined these groups. He already was describing all of these young, fit people. Very strange. But they were already becoming friends. They had this game. He had every opportunity. He studied the trail. Whatever it takes for him, dude. But he did get partnered with her. He could have just like done the game and like that's good memories. And
Yeah.
he was doing some of the right things. Like and it's right. When you pursue friends, you don't need to turn those friends into potential partners. Not every person that is a gender that you're attracted to is an opportunity. But when you make friends set their friends up with people. Like there is
Absolutely.
every opportunity.
It requires patience. He's 19. I wish I could go back to when I was 19 and reach out more and go to more groups and try more experiences with the mindset of like, I just want to meet people and just connect with people and trust that it will happen. Like, it will happen. And I fear that this guy has fallen very victim to a lot of what the internet and the manosphere tells you, which is like, be direct, like, know what you want, say the thing, and it's wrong.
Yeah, be direct and gaslight women.
Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
this story made me want to throw up on this pillow.
It was a little nauseating.
That's a good pillow, so. All right, let's move on, because
Yeah.
the comments,
They speak for themselves,
Reddit
yeah.
declared what they thought. Am I the asshole for hosting an alternative reception for my daughter's vegan and alcohol-free wedding?
Huh.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My daughter and her fiance are planning on having a vegan and alcohol-free wedding, which caused an uproar within our family.
What, you need the alcohol there?
Yeah.
Many of our family members and friends are meat eaters and enjoy having a drink or two, and they feel uncomfortable and unaccustomed to the restrictions being imposed on them. They feel like they won't be able to fully enjoy the wedding and that it is not a true representation of who they are. I understand my daughter's choices and respect them.
Beer.
Meat and beer family. I respect my daughter's choices, but I also want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and happy. After much discussion with my family and friends, I decided to host an alternative reception at my house, where meat and alcohol are going to be served for those who are unhappy with my daughter's reception. I made it clear that this is an optional event and that everyone was welcome to attend or not. Many guests are choosing to attend the alternative reception instead of my daughter's reception, which is making her feel completely distraught and angry. She thinks that I have disrespected her and her partner's choices and is accusing me of trying to sabotage her wedding. I told her that this is not the case and that I am simply trying to provide the wedding guests with more options. She insists that I should have supported her decision and made sure that everyone was comfortable with it. My daughter is threatening to disinvite me and my husband from the wedding if I do not cancel this alternative reception, and I am now unsure if I am doing the right thing. I want to make sure that everyone is happy, but I also don't want to create an unnecessary rift with my daughter. Am I the asshole for hosting an alternative reception?
I have lots of thoughts.
Yeah.
The fact that it was competing, that's my biggest issue, is that it was competing.
I don't think it's like, see, I don't see them as competing things, but I have an issue with the people that went, okay, I'm just not going to go to the actual wedding and I'll just go to this party instead.
Right.
That's my issue.
I thought it was.
I
What?
think that's where the competing is coming in.
Yeah.
It's the same time.
It's at the same
Wait, it's at the same time.
That's,
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
That's where it's stealing. It's not, hey, there's this additional thing the next night or later.
There's no fucking way. That would be insane. That would be an asshole thing to do.
That's why I have lots of thoughts.
I mean, look, receptions typically happen right after the ceremony.
Yeah.
It feels weird to be like, oh, here's a reception that's happening a day later. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's plenty of people that will do like, if their partner is from like the East Coast and they're from the West Coast, they'll do a wedding and reception on the West
Sure,
Coast,
and
then
then a
they'll go
reception.
to the East Coast and do a reception there.
sure.
like-
But either way, like, many guests are choosing to attend the alternative reception instead of my daughter's reception. I don't know. Either way, it feels like this is clearly pulling away from the daughter's
Yeah.
plans. For me, what sums it all up is I'm unsure if I'm doing the right thing. I want to make sure that everyone is happy. My opinion is that I'm like, it's your daughter's wedding. If she's not happy, then you failed.
Yeah.
I don't care about everyone else.
Also, the daughter already expressed she's not happy.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
she told
And then you go on Reddit to see if everyone's happy? Like,
Yeah, I need to make sure everyone on the internet is happy too.
Well, and I feel like this happens a lot with weddings where like, I'm not saying it's just the moms, but I have heard many times moms will like, you know, invite a bunch of their friends that have nothing to do with the bride at all. And they're like, Mom, I don't even know these friends that you're inviting, but it's like, they're just doing it because like they want like, you know.
People to hang out with.
Yeah, that, and it's just like, they just want to have like a good time.
My issue is that this person knows that it's taking away and that it's making their daughter unhappy. So I think that's where the decision should be obvious, regardless of if it's at the same time or not. Like, that doesn't matter. The fact that they're saying people are choosing this instead of that, I think is just a clear indication to like not do it or make it
Right.
a different day or switch it or tell the people, if you're coming to my thing, you have to go to my daughter's thing. Sorry, that's the rule.
Right. If the daughter's threatening to disinvite you from the wedding, it's like, all right, you've made your message clear. I'm canceling this thing.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's some comments here. Someone said in quotations, many guests are choosing to attend the alternative reception instead of my daughter's reception. Instead of, your daughter absolutely nailed it. You are upstaging/sabotaging your own daughter's wedding reception because you and your family can't go a couple of hours without meat and alcohol. So a bunch of selfish, self-absorbed, alcoholic assholes who hate vegetables too much to celebrate someone on their big day. I'd go no contact with you for this stunt. Congratulations, you definitely just destroyed your relationship with your daughter. You and your family sound absolutely insufferable though, so you're definitely doing her a favor. You're the asshole.
Damn.
Ooh, that was rough.
That's brutal.
Damn!
I mean, like, it is really, I did really love that line that the mom had about, like, you know, like, not drinking and not eating meat just doesn't really align with people's culture. And it's like, so you're saying, like, their culture is, like, getting f***ed up and eating hot dogs? Like, it's, like, not enough of an excuse. Like, yeah, I mean, like, look, like, at my birthday party, like I wasn't drinking during that time, and everyone was like bringing alcohol. Everybody was drinking, and like you know, at the beginning of the night, I was like, oh man, this is gonna like kind of suck because I'm not gonna be like on the same like level as everyone. And then like, you know, as the night like progressed, I was like, oh, I'm just like enjoying my time with my friends, and like,
Yeah.
even if I'm not drinking, it doesn't matter. Like, you know,
Totally.
I got some Topo Chico.
Totally.
You know,
all you
I'm
need.
set.
Someone else said, the wedding isn't about your family. It's about your daughter and her husband. Y'all can't live without meat and alcohol for one f***ing evening. You're the asshole, and so is the rest of your family. This wedding is a representation of your daughter and her future husband. Why should it be a representation of the rest of the family? Spoiler, it shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, you know, I know weddings. I know there's plenty of weddings that are dry weddings and stuff, and it's like, it's one night, like, who cares? Whatever. It's about them. They're allowed to dictate what they want. I'm always going to prefer, if I don't really know the person and I get invited to a wedding and I find out there's not gonna be alcohol, I may not go.
Yeah.
If I don't really know, if it's like, oh, a friend of a friend and they're inviting a bunch of people, I'd be like, okay, yeah, oh, no alcohol? Nah, I'm out.
But your daughter.
But oh my God, like if anyone close, any of my family, I'm going no matter what.
Yeah.
And sometimes like events like that, I don't want to drink too much. Like I like to kind of stay aware and have a good time and be present. Anthony, do you ever struggle, like as a vegan, do you ever struggle with events and stuff that don't serve any vegan food? Have you had, I feel like in LA that issue doesn't arise too much.
No, I mean, I deal with it a lot, but then usually I'll just eat the salad or I'll pick around, like, I don't know. It's like, if I'm going to an event, I'll assume that they're not gonna have many options and that's okay. I'll just mentally prepare to eat something afterwards. It's not that big of a deal to me.
And you got that. You always have like a protein bar on you.
I usually carry protein bars on me just as backup, just to like have something, get some protein and not feel like all I can think about is food.
Yeah, do you think the daughter would have been upset if all those family members just had a flask on them?
A flask like and a turkey leg around, like tied around the hip, like with some rope. They're fucking Vikings.
Stuffed into their pants? Like, oh my God! Don't worry, it's not my bulge, it's a turkey leg.
Also, I wonder, like, if it was a dry wedding, then if it's somebody, like, if the groom or bride is, like, sober, has, like, an issue with alcohol.
They didn't get into any of the reasoning. Like, it could have been, we don't want any alcohol because of X, or we don't even know how strongly they felt about the vegan situation. Like, if someone's eating meat in the corner, do they care? You know?
Well, because it's an alcohol-free wedding. It's not like, oh, it's not open bar. I don't know what this venue is or something, but I am curious about the specific wording on that. If it's like no alcohol.
Right.
Or if it's like bring your own or something. So that does make me wonder if it's more serious circumstances. All right, well, moving on. Today I fucked up by hooking up with the professor's daughter. I am a typical university student just trying to get through finals week. Tonight, after a very stressful day of exams and studying for my ancient literature class, I decided to casually scroll Tinder. It had been a while and I just needed to de-stress. Little did I know, this would cause me more stress than I could have possibly imagined. I swiped right on a girl who was less than a mile away. She was 25, a little older than me, but she was super hot and she seemed into me, so I went with it. She invited me over to her apartment and she said that she had to go in 20 minutes, so make it fast. Needless to say, we got straight to business, but about 3 minutes after we began, we heard the front door open. She told me to stop, so I stopped and we listened. The footsteps came in our direction and I got pretty scared. I expected it would be like when my parents caught me a few years ago with my ex, and it would be embarrassing all around. Not at all. The ancient literature professor, who I absolutely despise, and whose test I was frantically studying for, walked into the room and froze. He saw her, gasped, and then saw my face. His face turned red, and he screamed, "Get the fuck out of my house!" I'm pretty sure I lost some of my hearing from how loud he yelled. Anyways, I put my shorts on and ran back to my quad. Now, as I lay in bed, all I can think of is how my college professor saw me naked. Not just naked, but raw-dogging his daughter without any clothes at all. He already didn't like me, and he is a very tough grader. So I already know that I am going to absolutely bomb this final and destroy my GPA. I see him tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wish me luck, and I'll update with what happens.
Do we have an update?
There might be an update. But so first impressions, I don't know. My first thought is also just like, hey, you just met this person, use protection. But
Yeah, not raw dog.
like, come on, man.
Not raw
like,
dogging
like,
it.
out of everything here, I'm like, come on, man. Like,
But she was super hot.
she's super hot.
Still.
No,
Don't.
no.
Yeah,
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he. I would say besides that, am I wrong for being like, I don't know where else you didn't actively choose
I don't
to
think
do anything
he
wrong.
No.
did anything really wrong other than raw dog.
Yeah.
Getting
definitely
hot
did
raw
that.
But I
dogging
get
was
it.
also
He is fucked now.
Yeah.
Also,
He is fucked.
if
After
you heard,
getting-
if
yeah.
you heard the footsteps, wouldn't you immediately release a raw dog and
Well,
put on your shorts?
So hold on. I think that's,
Unraw the dog.
wouldn't you unraw the dog?
I don't like that term.
No, I think that's kind of what happened. But about 3 minutes after we began, we heard the front door open. She told me to stop, so I stopped and we listened. Now that's where it's like I wouldn't just stop and listen. I'd be like, I'd be fucking like Superman, just like.
Yeah, exactly. And then like
Wow.
underneath the bed.
Right.
I'd
They're
go
just
under
frozen.
the bed. I'd
That's
hide.
what I mean.
Well,
Under the bed.
maybe it could be like a roommate or something, right?
Sure, that's also where my mind might go.
Doesn't she live with her father?
Well, he didn't know that.
He didn't know that. She was just 25, so I would just be
I
like,
don't
oh,
think he
someone
had
just
any,
came home.
I don't think he had any info. So I understand if I would probably go based on how she's feeling, but she kind of,
She
for
could
her to
have
stop,
said like,
get your clothes on.
it's probably my dad.
Get your clothes on.
Right.
Unraw your dog.
Unraw your dog
They
and get
did
out of me
unraw
right
the
now.
dog.
They didn't unraw.
So some comments here. Better question is, what is he doing walking in on his daughter, especially one that is 25?
Oh.
The professor fucked up.
That's actually kind of true.
That's actually so true.
Personal space.
I feel like this is grounds for either getting him recused from grading your paper or getting a remark from someone else. Someone else said, invited to a college-age woman's apartment, but then the father casually opens the door and lets himself in. Yeah, BS. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
strange. I do need to, there's so much that happens that I haven't processed that. It is absolutely strange, she's 25, that he walks into a room and then commands the man to leave. She's 25.
25.
She's allowed to do whatever she wants. They're both adults. He doesn't get to dictate that.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Also,
It was weird.
Yeah, like I would have been pissed at my dad.
Yeah,
I would have been like, you get the fuck out, Dad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's keep going.
I was so putting myself in. I was putting myself in the guy's shoes and thinking about how I would feel in that situation to not decipher how weird this situation is.
Yeah. It seems like
Are
just
we thinking-
unfortunate circumstances on that part.
Yeah.
Are we thinking maybe it's not her father and that it's actually like she's dating him or like
Wait.
because that would the response of get the fuck out of my house makes more sense if it's like, oh, some guy sleeping with my
Wait, he
partner.
doesn't know if it's the daughter?
Well, no. What I'm saying is like the way that the professor, that's not the professor's daughter. This is what I'm saying. What if that's not the professor's daughter? That's the professor's girlfriend
That'd be hot.
or something. Because you walk in on someone and say, get the fuck out of my house is the response you'd have if your partner was cheating on you with someone.
Plot thickens.
Right? Am I
Yes,
wrong?
but also that is also like a dad, a very dad thing.
A weird,
But also it's like get out of your daughter's or move out of your dad's house.
Move out of your dad's house is
But
definitely
also,
ideal.
sometimes, when you're in college or out of college, sometimes it's like you gotta live with your parents, which is totally fine.
Totally.
Well, is that why she
living
was
with
like
your parents
20
is-
minutes?
This
But
is
it's
living
like
with your parents is fine.
privacy.
But this dad is weird.
Yeah.
If he's,
Yeah.
I almost hope that he's not the father because if he's the father, I think he's a weird dad.
Who's the father?
All right, let's see. Let's read this update.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, good. Yay.
But most importantly, most of the comments think it's fake. They just think it's fake and not a real story. They think this guy's
Yeah.
lying
Well,
about all of this.
Yes.
Well, he
okay.
did add in raw dog. It's like
That's true.
You wish.
That's true. He's
He
like,
would
dude,
raw dog.
I was hooking up with this super hot
Raw
chick."
dog
And she let me
for
go raw.
hours.
Okay. Okay. Update.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Update. Short update because I have taken the exam, but I still don't know what's going on. I'm going to start out all the personal info because this blew up a lot more than I wanted it to, and I'd rather not turn this into a school-wide scandal. I shuffled into class praying that my life wasn't about to be ruined by this professor. Thankfully, the TA came into the room and said, due to a family emergency, Professor Blank will not be proctoring today's exam. He will email you back with your graded exam by the end of Saturday. Right after the TA said this, she started handing out the tests. When she came to me, she gave me this look and laughed before giving me the exam. I thought, great, now the administration probably knows. Anyways, I took the test and actually, I think I did pretty well. As soon as I got out of the room, I checked my email. It's a habit. And Professor Blank had emailed me. Below is the email without the names. OP, please meet my wife, myself, and the Dean of the Academic Affairs in room blank in the blank building tomorrow at 1 p.m. There we will discuss our situation and how to proceed. Thank you in advance for your understanding and cooperation. Best, Professor Blank. I don't know what to think. First of all, I didn't do anything wrong. I have no idea why his wife is getting involved, but there was verbal and written consent, and if I need to, I can use the Tinder DM history to prove it. Also, his daughter has an IUD, so there's no way that this is going to turn into a pregnancy. The main thing The main thing I'm worried about is how this will affect my relationship with my professors and the administration. I guess I'll update again tomorrow after the meeting. Okay, his comments are, maybe he's doing the right thing and getting himself out of grading you. Wife there just to not be left out of whatever their family is going through. Someone else commented, maybe you actually fucked his wife,
I was just
and
gonna
that's why
say.
the Dean of Academic Affairs is involved.
I was just gonna say that.
His wife?
Maybe
of
that was his
25
wife.
years?
Maybe that was also a joke of affairs, but I think maybe the professor, I don't know.
That's way too far. Like, if it's your daughter and she's 25, why would you get the dean involved?
I think it has to be his daughter, and he's just being like this very protective father, which naturally I guess you would be as a parent. I think he's just pissed and he needs somebody to blame because it's like, how could I have walked in on my daughter just having sex with this guy? And it happens to be one of my students, so he's like reacting. But yes, the student did not do anything wrong. He never obviously knew that this was his professor's
He didn't do
kid.
anything. He just was going on, he was just hooking up with someone.
Yeah.
But is it the wife?
So he put an edit after he read a bunch of comments. He was like, okay, after reading comments about it possibly being his wife, his reaction in the meeting makes a lot of sense, and she never said anything about her and his relationship. However, I still very much hope that's not what happened, and I just terrified him at the thought of being his future son-in-law. But there's another update.
Thank God. I was like,
Update 2, I cuckolded my professor.
Raw.
dog.
Raw.
Dog. Raw
Okay.
dog.
You guys wanted an update, so here it is. Over the last couple hours, I have gone from being terrified of possibly getting sued to possibly becoming a school legend. Unfortunately, a few of my friends found my Reddit post, and because of the class name and my professor being absent, they know exactly what happened. Anyways, here's the update. Right after making the last post, I got an email saying that the meeting had been changed. Everyone involved was supposed to meet a little later in a noise-proof room because they didn't want anyone else to hear or get involved. Anyways, we met at around 2:30, and the professor and the dean of academic affairs sat across from me. Like many of you predicted, his wife, the person who I now know was the daughter that I hooked up with, walked in with a ring this time. Luckily, she and the professor didn't try to make any claims, like assault or malicious intent. Surprisingly, the meeting was pretty quiet and simple. 2 other professors would evaluate the class exams instead of Professor Blank to ensure fairness. Under the student handbook, the professor, if they have an issue with a student, is required to submit all of my previous exams, class materials to the administration for evaluation. Probably obvious, but the scheduling office will put me into another professor's class next semester. I know that the meeting went as well as it could, but my situation is far from perfect because my friends found the posts and have told a large portion of our friend group. Damn casual Tinder hookups. Wow, so he slept with the professor's wife.
First of all, the professor's wife was on Tinder
Wow.
and fucking wanted to cheat.
And didn't wear the ring too.
Still not really his fault. And what did she say? I have an IUD. How old was she?
25.
Oh, sorry, I kind of misread something. She never said that was her father. He interpreted that as her father.
Oh.
That was all his interpretation. So going back though, yeah, she should have damn been like, get your fucking clothes on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They just sat and listened, just waited.
Listen.
Because she knew then what she was doing, so she clearly could have avoided that situation.
You know what this also, I feel like.
I'm so involved.
Also, go to his place.
Also, well.
He lives in the quads.
Quads, yeah, she
The
doesn't want
quads are greater than
If you
that.
walk in to hook up with someone, they go, we have 20 minutes to make this quick. You fucking know what might be happening.
Why didn't she tell him to get his clothes on?
I don't know.
Well, him even being there still would be suspicious. He had to have stayed hidden.
Yeah, if he got all his clothes on, she was just like, I don't know who this guy is.
Your student is here to study
Yeah.
with you.
Hello, professor.
Yeah.
I came by to.
Yeah, exactly. God, didn't he assume, he was probably in their home. Weren't there photos of them? Whatever.
He was there for one job and one job only.
But I think it was very quick. It was probably late at night.
Yeah, it was-
They're just quick to the bedroom,
Quick.
doing it.
As I
I'm
would.
guessing it's a professor that the professor's much older. So
Aw.
it seems fair that he thought, oh, this 25-year-old woman is his daughter, not his wife. But,
Well, she's clearly not happy in that relationship. Or,
well, I think, she's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Maybe he can't raw dog her.
That's kind of what
She's
I'm
looking
wondering.
for it.
She has an IUD. She's protected.
She's in search for the raw.
Okay, moving on from that wild one. Am I the asshole for telling my wife she shouldn't attend a family wedding if I'm not invited? Last weekend, my wife received an invitation to her eldest sister's wedding. The invitation states that she and our 3 children are invited with no mention of me. 4 seats have been reserved in honor of wife, child, and child. I was insulted and thought my wife would agree that that is rude, but after she spoke to her mother to clarify if I really wasn't invited, she said she is still planning to attend. I said it wouldn't be fair for her to go without me and that I don't give consent for my children to go without their father. She said I'm being unreasonable as her nieces and nephews will be there and it's a big family event. My argument is that if it's so important the whole family attends, then I should be invited. If not, then it can't be that important and she shouldn't go. Who's the asshole here? So the verdict is
Okay, so why wasn't he invited?
we don't know. He just wasn't invited.
Okay.
That's all we know that the wife and 3 children were invited, but not the dad, and he's pissed about it, and he's saying, none of you should go if I'm not invited. The verdict, though, is asshole. There's an edit here. Okay, I get it, I'm in the wrong. I'll let my kids go. Everyone can stop hounding me about old mistakes that I've already thoroughly repented for.
Whoa.
Wait.
Repented.
I have repented. I have gone to hell and back.
What?
Okay, so hold on. I guess OP got into a lot of interactions with people in the comments. And we got all the context we need from it. So a commenter, info, so why weren't you invited? OP, my friendship with my in-laws has been strained over the years and they don't make an effort to include me or visit us anymore. Commenter, why is it strained? OP, they felt they had a say in the future of my marriage when me and my wife hit a rough patch almost 10 years ago. I thought we'd put it all behind us. Then in 2020, they all cut me out after a disagreement. Commenter, what sort of rough patch? Were they supporting her in an unsafe or unhealthy situation? OP, nothing like that. There was an issue of chronic infidelity on my part that we have dealt with as a couple and moved forward from. Around that time, they also decided they didn't like an arrangement my wife and I had, which is that she worked for my company off the books. My business now makes enough to pay her a salary, so that's not an issue anymore, but things were difficult when trying to get the business off the ground. Edited to add, since everyone is grabbing at straws, the infidelity was almost 10 years ago, and my wife and I got past it and went on to have our youngest 2 children. And until recently, the family had been fine to keep things amicable. Commenter, info, what was the disagreement? Was it related to your past unfaithfulness? OP, no, it wasn't. It was related to me calling out my wife's younger sister for causing drama in the family. Admittedly, it got out of hand on both sides, but before I had a chance to apologize, the whole family had blocked my number and told my wife to keep things separate going forward. They forced her to act like a single mother, having to split holidays and Christmases with the kids between me and her family, rather than just swallow their pride and choose unity.
Oh, God.
Look, I'm firmly a believer that almost every Reddit story is missing a lot of information.
And it's still missing it because I'm expecting the commenter to be like, info, what was the drama that the in-laws stirred up?
So I lit their house on fire. Okay, like I just feel like it's this guy. I don't like off the bat that he went and he posted this, leaving out so much information to just on purpose just try to make his wife look bad and just get a bunch of people on the internet to be like, yeah, man, you got f***ed over.
Yeah.
When he absolutely knew the reasons. And it's, dude, like, if I was someone's parent and they were with someone like that, I totally get that feeling. Like, I totally get that you would not want to see that person at a wedding.
Yeah.
No, this guy sounds like the worst person. Like, well, a pretty shitty person.
Yeah, well, and paying her off the books. And also, like, she's going to her sister's wedding. right? It's her. Yeah, it's her
Yeah.
sister's wedding, and he's like, "You can't go.
Yeah.
I declare that you and the children can't go." It's like, dude, like, come on.
Why? Because of some things that I did.
Because of some random stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Chronic infidelity is a
Not
new
chronic.
term. Chronic. He's got the chronic.
He's chronic infidelity. He can't control it. It just happens.
Sorry,
it's an
it's-
invisible illness.
He used the word chronic, which is the funniest thing to me.
Yeah,
He could have just said
chose
infidelity.
chronic Infidelity.
He could have just said
He
infidelity.
did say chronic infidelity, and he said, no, it was in the past, it's done, but I have chronic infidelity.
Also, making his wife work free labor.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's lucky the government doesn't find out about that shit. No, it's just like, oh yeah, I've got chronic back pain and infidelity.
God damn.
Yeah.
I've made many errors in my life, but my wife is now making this one thing that isn't even an error. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter to me what the story is, what happened, but if OP reveals in the comments that they left out tons of super important information, I'm like, you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you're the asshole here on Reddit
Yeah.
for doing that. Like,
If you're gonna go on Reddit and do the Reddit thing, then you need to.
Yeah, man, it's anonymous. Like he's doing this for self-therapy.
Yeah.
To make himself feel justified. I mean, yeah, he knows why he's not invited, but he wants to live in a fantasy and in denial and have he wants to have thousands of people tell him, no, man, you're good. But Reddit's pretty good at sussing stuff out a lot of times.
This might be not as popular of an opinion, but even aside from all the stuff that got revealed in the comments, if you just take the first story, I still think he's the asshole.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, for me, even if someone, for whatever reason, even if I didn't do anything, but, like, my partner was like, hey, I got invited to this wedding, this family wedding, you weren't invited, like, that's not my choice.
Right.
Like, that's their day, that's their wedding. For whatever
100%.
reason it is, like, that's okay. Like, I'm fine. If that's important to you, you should go. Like, obviously, like, I might want to know why I wasn't invited, but it's not my choice. And
Yeah,
so,
clearly
like,
this guy knew.
Also, if he's talking about unity, like he probably most likely has not genuinely apologized and like done the
No,
work to
yeah.
fix this. Her family does not think so.
Yeah.
But if he really is like, they should choose unity, he's actively choosing to have the divide split further
Yeah,
by being
no.
like, no, we'll get the kids involved and they can't see your family
Chronic
either.
infidelity, chronic asshole.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Am I the asshole for dropping our dinner on the ground and walking out when my boyfriend asked me, what's for dinner tonight, bitch?
Wait a second. Did one of my partners post this?
Jesus.
But I said like bitch. Like I
Yeah,
said it
true.
as a
How many
joke.
eyes were in the bitch, right? Is it just one eye?
Oh, it's just one.
Oh, then that's not.
Oh yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. You gotta have it like bitch.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. All right. Legend.
I was so. All right.
Everyone's like, Ian, stop. Shut your fucking mouth.
Ian, I'm not gonna buy
Sorry.
Smosh anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
You
getting
keep this up.
dude. I'm getting zooted off this matcha latte.
Yeah.
So
Do you know how much caffeine is in that?
I was over my boyfriend's apartment this weekend and I was cooking dinner because he was studying for exams. I made pasta and a chunky sauce with meatballs and veggies. I told him dinner was ready and he goes, what's for dinner tonight, bitch? And it's in all caps. Bitch is in all caps.
Okay.
What's for dinner tonight, bitch?
Wait, what's the Smosh way that it would have been done?
be like, bitch. You have to have that bitch.
What's for dinner tonight? Bitch! Or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's getting too like
With like a lot of emphasis on the last word.
Yeah.
I was fed up. I'd had a pretty rough day with work, and I have some awfully bad associations with that word being used by other people in my life who were pretty abusive. So I was so irritated that I dropped the pot of pasta sauce I'd been carrying right on the ground and was like, well, nothing's for dinner tonight now, and I better not hear you using that word again. It's for the girls. He was freaking out about how sauce had landed on his rug, and he even said, you're seriously acting like a bitch right now. I don't know what else to call it.
whoa. Okay.
There's some other shit going on.
Now
Wrong
that's it.
bitch.
I just walked out and got takeout for myself and went to my friend's house. She thought it was funny, but my boyfriend was furious. He kept texting and calling and sending me voice memos trying to explain that saying, what's for dinner tonight, bitch, was a TikTok trend, and that he was just quoting something as a joke to put on TikTok. I thought that was the shittiest excuse ever. It doesn't matter if he saw it as a joke or stole the joke, it was still disrespectful. But it didn't change the fact that he thought that shit was funny, to demean me when I was trying to do him a favor. Like hell, I came over when he was studying to make a home-cooked dinner, and he decides it's time for jokes, so I put my phone on Don't Disturb for the night and split a bottle of wine with my friend and her roommate. The next morning, he was sending me angry texts demanding I clean his rug because he was still too busy with exams to do it. I was shocked he left it overnight. That's disgusting.
The mess I made.
Yeah, I texted him back saying, yeah, so that's the bitch tax, honey. Leave me alone till you're ready to handle your own cooking and cleaning because this bitch isn't anymore. Also, it's vile you left that soaking in all night. He called me and told me that he was okay with doing his own household work, but I did throw a full pot of sauce at the ground, so that's on me to clean up. I told him, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable doing chores for you if you see me like your bitch. He told me he didn't, and it was just a trend, and I got pissed off he was playing that TikTok trend BS excuse again, and I told him, well, I'm starting a trend called saucing, where as a little joke, people throw pasta sauce around. You can't be mad because just a little trend, a little jokey joke, just a little prank, bro. He got really pissed off and hung up on me, and now I'm seriously wondering if this dumb f***ing TikTok joke is gonna be the end of things between us. Am I the asshole now? How I reacted when my boyfriend asked me what's for dinner tonight, bitch? Edit to address a comment I've gotten a lot, and I don't have time to reply every time. But did you tell him not to call you a bitch? Like, how would he know otherwise? Honestly, if someone has gotten to the age of 30 and not realized that women, as a whole, do not like having demeaning slurs used against them, they're beyond my help. This isn't something that needs to be told. I shouldn't have to go through life like, hey man, just in case you were thinking I might like demeaning slurs against my gender used on me, I don't actually. And if you're about to comment something like that, let me just tell you in no uncertain terms, women do not like being called bitches by men. Do not call women bitches. If you needed to be told that it is unkind, consider yourself officially told. Now you have no excuse to not understand.
Yeah.
I think it really hits. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what age he is, but when she's like, yeah, he's 30 years old, I'm like, yeah. A TikTok trend, like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, from looking at this one event in a vacuum, like, I'm sure some people could see that and be like, she overreacted. But I guarantee, like, with the way that he talked to her, I'm sure that he's talked in similar ways to her and she's communicated to him that she doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And he's probably ignored it and goes, oh, it's a funny TikTok trend, which is like, what a bad excuse.
It's a bad excuse. The adding of the like, well, now you actually are acting like a bitch.
Yeah, that really sealed
okay,
it.
that sealed it of
yeah.
like, you probably do talk disrespectfully to her.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be one thing if they joked around together and it was like
Totally.
established that they call each other that kind of thing, but
Right.
I mean, clearly it completely caught her off guard because this was something that was hard set in stone for her of like, this is not a line that you cross.
Yeah.
So it feels like he should have, I mean, it doesn't say how long they've been together, but it feels
Yeah.
like they probably should have, he probably knew.
He probably did know.
You got to test those waters before you bring out the big guns. You know, and that word is one of the big guns. So you gotta make sure that your partner is like chill with that.
But I
kind of
agree.
language.
Like relationships, people in relationships, they gauge like, what are we comfortable with joking about and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said a joke that clearly offended her.
Oh, yeah.
That he, as we are either assuming or we don't know for sure, that it's like there's clearly been stuff before this,
Yeah.
and he's not taking her feelings into account.
And a lot of times people joke and use that kind of word with each other because they know, like it's so established that they would never actually mean that, or it's almost funny because they would never say that.
Sure.
But the fact that he's saying it and she feels like he meant it means that there's other stuff that's there.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And what I can't get over is that he did leave the sauce.
He's like, that's for you to clean up. You did that.
Well, yeah, and the fact that he's angry about it.
Yeah.
That he's like,
Yeah.
the fact that he got that this happened and his response is anger rather than like apologizing and trying to fix things and just getting angry and sending angry text messages. It's like, I think there's a bit of history here.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been like, immediately, I you know, I did not know that was gonna offend you, and I'm so sorry. Let's make this right. But he doubled down and said, "You are acting like a bitch right now." Like,
Icky.
No,
Yeah.
that's where it's. I mean, you lost me before, but like that's when it's like, all right, buddy, you're gone. Some comments here. Not the asshole. I Googled the trend, and it is all about seeing how women react to a knowingly offensive comment. And usually, they are offended. These jokes aren't funny. Well, you reacted. He got his wish. Effed around and found out he needs to grow up. So he was also clearly filming her.
Yeah.
oh
as
yeah,
she did this.
Yeah,
she
he
did
said-
mention
Yeah, he
it.
said it was a trend, and
He wanted to get her reaction.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
So,
so,
well, you
that's
got it,
so
bro.
cringy. Not the asshole, and yes, this should be the end of you two. He sounds like a total asshole, and leaving that on the floor overnight is just nasty. Last comment here. Not the asshole, your gut response, shock and rage at him taking you for granted to the point of demeaning you was the right one from the beginning. Him leaving the mess overnight expecting you to come back and clean it up just confirms it. He doesn't respect you. Yeah.
Yeah, and she probably felt extra disrespected because she probably didn't want to cook him dinner that night, and she was going out of her way
Yeah,
for
she was
him.
helping him out.
Yeah,
He's like, this is gonna give me so much clout.
yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Bro.
Like, she's doing this favor for me, and I disrespect her.
Yeah, like, look, there's a lot of TikTok trends. A lot of them are totally cool and funny.
Wait,
and
so you're
fun.
telling me that there's sexist things on TikTok?
Yeah.
What?
Today I fucked up by donating $15,041 to a poor community in Bangladesh instead of the $150 donation I intended. Okay. This happened in February of last year, but my friends have been telling me I need to post this online. So here goes nothing. My wife and I, both 31 years old at the time, moved into a new 3-unit apartment building in San Francisco. One of our neighbors is a 70-something-year-old retired veteran. We'll call him Joe. For context, Joe is a white American guy, and he's also a devout Hindu priest. One day I run into Joe in the hallway, and he tells me about this charity he manages for a community in Bangladesh. I wanted to support my neighbor and the charity, so I asked Joe to send me the GoFundMe link. The next day at work, I go on the GoFundMe page and donate $150. Or so I thought. Moments later, I get a text on my phone warning me of an unusually large transaction on my credit card. I'm confused and swipe to open the text message. It says I have made a payment of $15,041 to GoFundMe. Immediately, I'm sweating. How could I have donated $15,000? I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes retracing my steps, and finally I realize my credit card starts with the numbers 4 and 1. It seems I had accidentally started typing my credit card information while my cursor was still in the donation box. And just like 150 became 150.41. Yikes. I call GoFundMe's support line in a panic, and when I finally connect with a human, I explain what happened. No need to worry, he tells me. They will initiate a refund of the transaction, which should process in 3 to 7 business days. That's a huge relief. But then I ask the agent if the charity will be able to see the donation on the GoFundMe page until it is refunded. What do you mean? The agent asked me. What do you mean? What do I mean? Was my response. Will they be able to see the $15,041 donation? Unfortunately, yes, the agent tells me. They will be able to see it until the refund process is complete. I tell him that's a big problem, as the entire GoFundMe had hardly raised that much at that point. Surely they will notice their fundraiser doubling overnight. My plan was to knock on Joe's door the following morning to give him the full story, so that he could pass it along to his contacts in Bangladesh. But when I woke up the next morning, I looked at my phone and saw I had 40+ notifications on Facebook. Someone had sent me a friend request, had liked many of my old posts, and had sent me many messages. Immediately, I was concerned when I saw that the individual messaging me had a Hindu name, but I never could have imagined what I saw when I opened his first message. The man had sent me a video of himself from Bangladesh, surrounded by dozens. Hold on, this is so rough. Okay. The man had sent me a video of himself from Bangladesh, surrounded by dozens of impoverished and hungry people holding bags of food, thanking me by name, Michael, for my generous donation. A big round of applause for Michael. At this point, I've leapt out of my bed and I'm pacing. Part of me wants to scream, part of me wants to crack up laughing. I start swiping through the man's messages, and it is picture after picture after picture of poor Bangladeshis thanking me for my kind donation. Literally hundreds of photos of frail, elderly, disabled, and malnourished individuals holding signs with my name. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I've uploaded a portion of the video and a few photos for you guys to see here. Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because this is an insane situation to be stuck in.
Oh.
Okay. So.
Oh my God.
So he sees the direct impact that this makes. Needless to say, I couldn't live with myself just donating $150 after seeing how the community responded to $15,041. I decided the least I could do was to add a zero, and so I donated $1,500 once the original donation was refunded. The charity's host was incredibly gracious and understanding, and he explained to me that $1,500 goes very far in Bangladesh for urgent food relief. Here is the charity's new GoFundMe link if you want to check it out. Ultimately, I think the whole experience was a win-win. I helped a great cause, and I got a funny story out of it. Okay, so to recap, he got it refunded, but then he donated $1,500.
Okay.
But
I don't know. I feel like I would have to find a way to get the 15,000 and just eat it. Just eat it. Because
I don't know. The problem is I don't know this guy's financial situation.
No, right, exactly.
I mean, he's got 15,000 to deposit.
He's got 15,000.
No, that could have been like, I mean, I get it, but like.
It could have been everything. If that was everything, it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't
I
take
think
it
I would ask friends and family and just eat it.
Some comments here. Best post on here in ages. Thank you for the great story and for helping out those folks. $1,500 is still very generous. Man, this got me good. I hope you didn't get behind on bills or anything after this mix-up. I will say, the fact that his original intention was $150.
Which is still a great donation.
So he still times that by 10 and like, you know,
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Someone said, holy shit, man, that put a pit in my stomach just reading. I can't imagine how you felt. LOL. Shit happens. Glad your neighbor was understanding and good for you for going the extra mile. Watch this post blow up and a shit ton of Redditors donate. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Someone else said, oh man, what a ride. I'd feel horrible. I hope Reddit comes through and helps. I'll throw in a few bucks and maybe others will too. There's a GoFundMe link. We can see.
Oh my God.
So he
I
posted
hope it's like surpassed.
He posted it to Reddit, and this went viral. So okay, so they're at 93K, raised of a 108K goal. So.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Wait, that's amazing.
Not gonna cry. Not gonna cry.
Seriously. What a wonderful, wonderful thing that this like hilarious story
It actually
has
ended
brought.
up being better that this all happened, and he posted it. And
What? Gonna cry.
Stop.
not gonna cry.
Stop. Stop. We're talking about assholes.
I had to look away, like seeing the photo and everything. I'm like,
So sweet.
Yeah, the photos. And you know that they were not going to be upset if he was just like, crazy story, I had to refund it.
yeah.
They were
the
obviously
fact that they
going
were
to be
so
like, of
cool. They're like,
course.
oh man,
I love
it's
that they all have a
good.
thing. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. It's you know, that sounds like a plot line for The Office. Like Michael Scott would accidentally do that and be like, I have to bring it back without while still being cool. So there's an update as of literally a couple weeks ago. Thanks for your kindness. Our ability to bring relief to others has multiplied many, many times. It is unbelievable. We've been struggling over the past several months, yet in the last 24 hours, over 1,800 donations have been received at GoFundMe, the largest single day in our history. We're astounded at the support we have seen, and this totally helps our effort. Kindly take a moment and share our campaign with friends, coworkers, and gentle souls. This will help us extend our reach to more people more often. As of right now, of reading this, it's not far off from their goal, but we'll post the link down below and check it out.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
That was super meaningful of that guy to think of putting the link in there as well.
I
Instead
know,
of just
it
sharing
really turned out well. And he, you know, on Reddit, you don't know if someone's gonna go viral or not.
So basically, it's almost like he did eat the money almost, but didn't have to.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It all, see what he should have thought of. Should have said all this. Posted, this all goes viral, tons of donations, and then he retracts it silently. Am I the asshole for making fun of my girlfriend for writing fan fiction and claiming it's actual writing? Okay. I haven't read this. I have never read this. I've read similar titles. My girlfriend, Abby, who's 31, and I, a male, 33, have been together for a few months, and this Easter I was going to introduce her to my family. We haven't moved in together yet. Abby is quite smart. She has a PhD and works in her field. I only have a BA, so you can imagine my surprise when a hot and smart woman wanted to date me. Anyway, I digress. Abby's passion is writing, although she's never allowed me to read anything she wrote. She dreams of writing a book and says she's practicing and trying to draft things. One day, I was staying over and fell asleep, and she went to her office to write. When I woke up, I peered over her shoulder when she was writing and saw names that sounded familiar. I asked her about this, and sure enough, she admitted to writing fan fiction. Apparently, she already wrote a 100K fan fiction, probably 100,000 word fan fiction, just a big fan fiction,
Like a long
and
story.
is working on her third one. She says it's writing practice and she loves it. I told her it's cringy, and if she was serious about her book, she'd write it by now because she's pretty much already wrote 2 books, if only they weren't fan fiction. She got silent and told me to leave her alone. When I introduced her to my family, I mentioned that she has a PhD. My brother and sister got impressed and asked about it. Abby tried to tell them, but I interjected and told them to not be so impressed because she wastes her time writing silly fan fiction, so I don't know how she even got her doctorate. It was meant to be a joke, but Abby was angry. I wonder why, dude. She called me an asshole. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day and asked me to drive her home. I tried to come in, but she told me she wanted to be alone and write her fan fiction. I told her she was childish, but left anyway. I haven't heard back from her since then, and I told my sister, and my sister agreed with Abby. I tried to call Abby, but she texted me with asshole and nothing else. My sister thinks I owe Abby an apology, but I don't think I did anything wrong, and yet Abby is annoyed. Was I really the asshole here? So I guess this was also posted on Am I the Ex, which is a place for stories where people don't realize they've already been broken up with. Which might be this guy.
Yeah.
I would, if I was around when this guy said this shit, I would point out the true fact that 50 Shades of Grey started off as a Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah.
And that woman made a bajillion dollars.
A bajillion dollars. But also what's crazy, because like, it is real writing, because the only thing that is unoriginal is like the canon and maybe some characters. But I've read some bad fan fiction and I've read some good fan fiction. And like, I think that's really awesome is if that's how that person wants to practice writing. And you know what's really f***ed up to me is she didn't want to show him. This was her thing that she was working on. He stumbled upon her doing it. It's not like she finally decided to be confident enough to show him. He happened to see it and then was negatively judging her.
Well, and may I point out, she says it's writing practice and she loves it. This is not like, she acknowledges like, this is just practice, it's just for fun. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
You gotta do whatever the f you want for a
she
hobby.
wasn't comfortable enough to share with him, and she had good reason, because when he happened to see it, he was an asshole.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What does this guy do in his free time?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Well,
come on.
It makes me so sad how many like stories you hear like this where like someone is just so unsupportive of like their partner and like their passions. Like it would be so demoralizing if like the person that I cared about like most in the world like saw something that I'd put a lot of effort into and that I cared about and was just like, that's not real writing, or like that's
not real cooking.
Yeah,
that you
that's not
just
real
did.
cooking. Or like I like to write too, and like if my partner looked at something that I wrote and was like, that's not real writing, it would
It's
that
devastating.
would destroy me. Like that's so sad.
Well, and any form of writing, I mean, really, anything you're writing is real writing, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're writing a story, even if it's based on and with characters of something, you're writing an original story, that's real writing. But no more, whatever form of writing you do is so personal.
Yeah.
And that's devastating because it's like, oh, my partner just looked at like deep at something that is like from down here that I haven't showed anyone, and they're calling it childish.
Yeah.
That is a way to get broken up with.
Cringe.
And
That's somehow the worst thing you could say.
and to then introduce her to your family and then hang her out for her family and try and get them to judge her in the same way, like I've
my God.
experienced similar stuff that was declared emotional abuse, and like it's messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was his parents, and clearly all of his family thought he was an asshole, I'd be like, holy shit, you're with someone who like has a PhD, like all this stuff, and then you're gonna insult like them like that right in front of us. I'd be like, you're fumbling the bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what degree does he have?
He said he has a BA.
Yeah.
which is like I have
Big
a BA.
asshole.
Nice.
Look, I have a BA, but getting a PhD is like more than double that amount of work.
Yeah,
like,
bitch.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
a lot.
It's funny because he like self-reports at the beginning too. He's like, she has a PhD and I have a BA. Like, I couldn't believe that someone so beautiful and smart would want to be with me. And it's like, now
Yeah,
I hope
know.
someone-
I wouldn't believe it
He
either.
found a way to make her smaller than him. You know what I mean?
I hope people in the comments find grammar mistakes in his post. That'd be just devastating. Okay, let's see the comments. You're the asshole. You can imagine my surprise when a hot and smart woman wanted to date me. We're surprised too, but thankfully she's seen the light and broken up with you. Someone else responded to that comment saying, thinking you're still dating somebody who has clearly broken up with you is certainly more cringe than writing fan fiction. Someone else said, you're the asshole, and this post reeks of jealousy. You try to dismiss the work she put in to earn her PhD because you don't like what she writes. Who made you the writing police? Yeah, man, no, like, it sucks. And I want to declare, like, fan fiction is real writing. Like, I understand there's copyright issues, you can't publish that. But, like, as a practice, it's great.
Yeah, there are very many successful websites that are fully like built by the authors on them that write fan fiction.
Man. I am certain most published authors would say, like, that's real writing. Like, that is if you're pouring your heart into it and you're putting your mind and heart into it, it's real.
Yeah. And people make money off of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's real writing.
Yeah. I don't think my boss knows that I know there's a camera in my office.
Oh
Oh my God.
God.
Holy shit.
Um.
Wow.
Wait, was this posted from Smosh? Was this posted from a Smosh employee?
Luckily,
Did they?
we don't have.
Did they find out? Did they
I
find
will
out?
say, I do want a fun little. Oh, this happened, recently.
Oh yeah.
I over the course of a month, I slowly hid fake bananas in Ian's office.
Yeah.
I would tape them underneath things. I would hide them, stash them in his couch. There was close to about 30 bananas in his office, and they were in there for days, and he had no idea.
That's actually why I wanted to buy Smosh again, is because I wanted to own those bananas.
Yeah, specifically
Yeah.
just the bananas.
Yeah.
Well, they're back in my office
Oh,
again.
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we own 30
Fake
very,
bananas.
very. Okay, they're fake.
They're like styrofoam.
Yeah.
The ones that are like in like,
Yeah. They'll last forever.
they'll be good forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, forever.
And they're an investment.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start because I'm not even sure if this is weird or not. It's weird.
It's already weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started at this new job not long ago, and since the first day, I've known there was a camera in my office. I don't think it's necessarily weird to have cameras in an office setting. There's cameras in all sorts of places for all kinds of reasons, but the camera in my office isn't any sort of built-in fixture. And my individual office room is the only office with a camera in it. On my first day of the job, I realized my boss was too aware of my actions. He said something to me that threw me off, and I knew he wouldn't have brought it up unless he had been watching me do something. It was just too coincidental. But it was casual at the same time, so it wasn't a direct allusion to the camera he has. But immediately after the incident, I scanned around the room, and I found a camera nestled into a cubby with a small wire that led into his adjacent office.
Bro.
My other boss has also indirectly responded to my actions in the group chat. The few times I had spent an excessive amount of time on my phone were times that the, hey guys, let me know if you guys need anything to work on. I know things are slow, messages would trickle in. Anything that seemed to hint at me being watched was also said or done ambiguously enough that they weren't revealing anything about being able to see me, as if I'm not supposed to know I'm being watched, and that's what is unsettling to me. The camera is pointed directly at me, not the door, not the front of my desk, not anywhere else that would make sense for security. I've looked at everyone else's office and didn't see a single camera. The camera is pointed specifically at me, and I don't even deal with money or anything that could be stolen. I don't know if I should bring this up. I'm not entirely mad, and I guess I understand the reasoning, like making sure I'm on task or some shit. It just bothers me a little that I can be watched whenever, and they never even disclose that. I feel like someone being constantly monitored has the right to know that they are, especially since I'm the only one being watched like this. I at least used it to my advantage because I at least know not to be on my phone, LOL. So in the comments, we can glean that she states that she is a 22-year-old woman.
Yep.
If we feel that's important.
Yeah, I was a little curious about if it was a woman.
Yeah.
I have a favorite part about all this.
Yeah.
Just how much time
Yep.
are these people spending watching
Watching
her
Yep.
do nothing and complaining about her doing nothing?
That's management, baby. That's what being a manager is all about. You just watch other people work.
Or not work.
I am kind of surprised at her reaction.
Yeah,
So, like, how chill she is?
I'm actually
She's
like,
being
I'm actually kind
extremely
of
chill.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I would just be like, turn the camera away.
Yeah, first
I would turn the camera away and then see if it gets moved back.
Yeah.
See if anyone says anything.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you didn't disclose that. That is illegal.
Yeah.
If I moved it and I saw it get moved back, I would then go to HR.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
immediately.
hey, there's a camera in my office.
Yeah.
I moved it away. It keeps getting moved back. That's illegal. It is illegal.
I wonder if it's like a trial that they run on like new employees. Like,
should still be disclosed.
But it's disclosed.
I
disclose
agree.
it.
Either way, it's gross. Like, and I think a lot of companies nowadays are obsessed with productivity and efficiency, and especially in the time of like remote work, I've heard of like companies like installing software on computers that will like track the person's productivity, which is crazy because like I think humans have always been as productive as ever, but now we have technology to hold people to account. So it's like even like back in the day, you know, like maybe in the 50s when corporate office jobs were just starting, I'm sure people weren't working, you know, nonstop from sitting down in their chair to leaving home.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's this expectation of like that's what it needs to be, and you have to always be working. And now we have technology to hold you to that account. It's like it's scary.
It's weird. I also think creating a environment of distrust is not going to create trust.
Yeah.
amongst your
Exactly.
employees and everything.
And I think the best way for people to feel motivated to work is when they feel trusted, when they feel respected, when they feel like they can work at a pace that works for them as long as they get the work done, you know, that kind of thing. But to say you need to always be working 100% of the time and I'm going to watch you to make sure.
It's weird. And I also feel like how you monitor production is just like, hey, did you do your job? You did it.
Yeah.
I don't care when you did it, how you did it, like you did it. Like we can see what needs to be done.
And if your job is to be the one to like make sure that somebody else is pulling the lever, then that's a bullshit job.
Yeah, you're the one without the job if you're sitting there just watching
Yeah,
someone
they're
else.
justifying their job by saying, I'm monitoring the people.
And this is us having the best assumption of why they have
We are being very
camera.
charitable here.
We're being
yeah.
extremely
Oh yeah, we
charitable
haven't.
here.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even like brushed the the fact that she's like a 22-year-old woman.
And it
It's
could be
like-
just a completely creepy,
Yeah.
awful reason. The tough thing legally also is that we're in California. The laws are a certain way here. The laws are different per state, different per country. So I know audio, you can't, it's two-party consent. So they can't record the audio. This is similar laws to us here in California. But video, I guess, it might be legal. I don't know, but if that needs to be disclosed or not is the question.
It still provides so much, or it still brings so much distrust.
Oh my God, it's still stupid as hell.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's just so disappointing, like hearing how okay with it this person is, and I think that kind of gives you an idea of like where we are. Right
Yeah.
now. Like people are like, no, it's fine.
I know. I feel like if people just drew a hard line about that, I'm just like, no, never gonna work in a situation like that.
Yeah.
But I also know people, like they get a job, they're like, I need this job.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
So I have some comments here. Anytime you are finished with a task and waiting for another one, spend excessive amounts of time staring into the camera. Someone else said, yes, and don't blink at all. Just stare vacantly, directly into the camera. Someone else said, is this your office? Place a nice plant/object in the way of the camera to decorate. If the decoration is moved, ask why. Someone else said, put a hardcover copy of 1984.
No, you know what would be epic is if you took a picture of yourself from that vantage point, printed it out, and then put it in front of the
Oh, that's a super smart move.
Or you get a looping video of you just working. Always productive.
I thought you were going to say to put a copy of Goatsy in front of it.
Oh,
and then put Goatsy in front of it, and then wait, and all of a sudden you hear from the next officer, you're just like, oh my God!
and they can't complain, or else they have to admit it, right?
He walks over, vomit on his shirt.
He's like, you seem pretty busy spreading your asshole. Sorry.
All right, so there's an update here. Oh, God, I wonder what's going to happen. I wasn't expecting so many responses. I genuinely appreciate how concerned everyone is about whether or not I'm okay. It makes me feel good knowing a lot of people care about a stranger's well-being. I've seen a lot of comments asking for an update, so this is really the most I have of one. Nothing has changed yet. I haven't brought it up to them because part of me is wondering if they'll eventually remove it. I was curious to see if they would ever bring it up themselves or if I could find a way to hint at the fact that I know. I sort of want them to stay unaware that I know so I can see how they act in response to my actions, to potentially call it out in the future. The top comment is pretty funny about staring into the camera. There were a few times where something ridiculous would happen with something and I'd stare into the camera for a moment as if I was breaking the fourth wall. LMAO.
Like, what did
Jim from The Office?
The Truman Show? I don't think this is.
I don't think I'm going to bring it up just yet. I actually really like working here. I get along with my coworkers, and they pay me decently for what I do. For everyone asking, yes, I'm a woman. I don't think this is as much of a sexual harassment case as it is just a micromanaging thing. They haven't done or said anything to me to make me feel like they were hitting on me, just genuine politeness. My guess for the camera is that they're maybe testing my integrity and seeing how much time I spend on my phone, even out of view of other people. Which I could understand, but wow, I wish there was another way besides a camera on me. There's been a few other micromanagey things that have irked me a little, but I still like my bosses in spite of that. If something changes, like if I start getting the vibe that this is becoming creepy, I'll keep you guys updated. Oh, and also a few things I wanted to mention that a lot of people had ideas about. You guys had good ideas, by the way. Due to where it's at, it would be really hard to cover the camera with anything. I can't exactly reach it, so I'd have to find something like maybe a wide shelf that would block view from underneath it. The wire runs into my boss's office. You can't see the wire from mine, so I'd have to take a pic of it from inside his office, so I don't know if I'm able to evidence collect too easily. I'm also trying to be a bit vague with details because I got a little paranoid about the idea of my bosses somehow coming across this thread. Anyways, I appreciate you guys, and I'm sorry I don't have more thrilling update. I'll let you know if anything changes. This camera must be in a very obvious place, I feel like.
And high up.
It must be, if it's really out in the open and just there, then it's like, okay, they're not trying to hide it.
So weird to not say anything about it.
It's so weird.
It sounds like at this point she's just curious to know what happens. She's
so chill, man. She's like,
time to go see that camera.
They're watching my every move.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway. Boop, 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 boop.
She kind of gave some details in the comments of what the camera looks like. It's like rectangular, sorta, longer vertically than it is horizontally. The lens doesn't poke outward. It's flush with the rest of the body, so from first glance, it could be mistaken as a speaker. I can't reach high enough to put something to cover it, and it's an abnormal place to decorate, so it'd be obvious I was trying to cover it.
It seems crazy to me to even try to cover it. Like,
yeah.
Like, if she likes the job and the people are reasonable, I think it's okay to just ask. Like, what is that camera doing there?
She could even play dumb if she's like not sure it's a camera. If it's like, oh, it looks like a speaker, just be like, I was just so curious, what is that?
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, I don't.
It is strange though, because I feel like the moment, I don't know if it's because I'm a guy or it's different because of any other reasons, but I'd immediately be like, is that a camera in my office? I feel like I would just ask right away.
Today I f***ed up by thinking my laser hair removal nurse was complimenting my asshole.
Nurse?
Okay.
Nurse! There are nurses now?
Okay. Obligatory, this happened a couple of days ago, but I've only just psychologically recovered from my utter embarrassment. So after lockdown ended in my country, there's been a huge sale at my local laser hair removal clinic, and so I thought, it, might as well go for it. So I paid for my 10 visits and set off for the first one. A little nervous but excited for my new hairless body. Now I decided it would be a great idea to get a full Brazilian, all the way from front to back. Pretty normal, right? The lovely nurse comes in and gives me a brief heads up, explains how it all sort of works. So she leaves the room, leaving me to strip down. She comes back in and decides that we are going to laser away the hair around my asshole first.
Ouch.
All well and good, right? So the instructions I'm given are lay on your right side and use your left hand to pull up your bum cheek. So here I am, lying on my side, hand pulling up my bum, while this lady sticks a laser around my asshole. Now, on my left hand, I wear this gorgeous silver ring with a bright blue gem. It was handmade by my best friend's boyfriend, so it's pretty unique. So this lady saw my gorgeous ring and decided to break the awkward silence with, "That's a cute ring you have there." And of course, I happened to forget I was wearing the damn ring. It just made sense in my head that this nurse was complimenting the ring of my asshole. Yeah, I know. So still on my side, I tell her, "Thank you. It'll be a lot nicer when it's hairless, LOL."
No! Oh my gosh!
Cue awkward laugh and then silence until I realized that she was not, in fact, talking about my bum. Finished the rest of the appointment without speaking and dashed out of there as soon as possible, still recovering.
She said, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah,
Wait, what
I have a
did-
good asshole.
Why did the nurse?
Go, I was...
Oh, I was talking about your ring. That's hilarious. No, instead she just went. Oh. And why is she a nurse?
Let her have her degree.
I think for laser hair removal, maybe it's you have to be a medical.
You got to be certified.
You have to be like certified a medical practitioner, like.
Wow.
Well, she was specific. She was like, "That's a cute ring."
I would
She
never
named
think
what was
my
cute.
asshole ring.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that either. I don't know what I would think.
Well, you're in a compromising position, you know.
You are literally caught with your asshole out. Like,
Why? I just don't know why people love to sit in that awkward silence. Why didn't any one of them say, I thought you were talking about my asshole, but you're talking about my ring, and now we just have to sit here.
Well, it's hard in
You know,
moments like
whatever.
that.
I think what you have to also realize, and I've talked to people who are doctors and stuff about like how normal it becomes, like mundane it becomes. Like this woman looks at assholes all day. This is nothing to her. She does
raw.
not care. It's really not actually that awkward. That's probably not the most awkward thing that's happened to her. People have probably farted in her face a lot. What? Tell me that hasn't happened.
It's
She's
definitely
sitting there,
happened.
They have to pull their bum cheek up, and you're expecting nothing to like. The more embarrassing things have happened. I think this is hilarious. Someone said only 9 more awkward visits to go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right, because that asshole ain't getting hairless
You gotta
right
walk
away.
in. You gotta walk in and immediately just go. I thought you were talking about my butthole.
But you were talking about this ring.
talking about this ring. Haha.
My brother's
like-
girlfriend, boyfriend made it. It's very intricate.
You'll
and
be
blue.
seeing a new specialist from here on out. No way.
Someone else said, you and I are 2 very different people. Had that happened to me, I'd be coming on here to brag about the greatest joke I ever came up with. Someone else said, this made me laugh. Can just imagine the waves of embarrassment. In my last laser hair removal session, both me and the lady had masks and those dark glasses, so any form of facial expression was completely hidden. At one point, she said, turn around, please, which sounds a lot like laugh, please, in my language. So I proceeded to laugh awkwardly, thinking she wanted to test some sort of movement in my body while I laughed. See, not the most embarrassing
No.
thing. I will be honest, I think I can relate to this because if I was in this position, I wouldn't want to talk at all. I wouldn't want to talk. Like, I am so uncomfortable. Even like massages, like I'm just like, I'm dead silent. Like I don't want to, even, and when they say something, I'm just like, yeah, for sure. Like I'm so uncomfortable.
Is this okay? Yeah, it's okay. Is this okay? Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
I don't like talking in massages either, just because of the relaxation.
Right, but I
Yeah.
think if I were doing, if I did any sort of laser hair removal or waxing in any sort of compromising place on my body, I would be like, let's just pretend we're robots.
Next video.
Sometimes
Shane.
it's them, like who are the ones wanting to talk. So I
Yes,
can see
'Cause
why
they're used to it all day. They
Right.
just do it all day. They don't care.
Exactly. So I can see why she was like, as a little icebreaker, just being like, cute ring.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Ooh, getting married, and you're like, yeah. Want to
Nice
laser my
ring.
asshole? Oh God.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Wow.
Nothing else to say.
Good cue.
Here we go. Holy shit. Okay.
I'm excited.
Sorry.
Click.
R true off my chest. My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids and I'm 6 months pregnant with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent as my mom passed away when I was 12. He's my favorite human and life without him doesn't seem as colorful. His laugh is contagious and he gives these big bear hugs that seem to make all of your broken pieces feel like they're perfectly in place again. Whenever I've had a hard day, he doesn't poke and prod and just lets me vent and listens. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatment aren't working for him, and in direct quote of the doctor, he said, "Months, not years." Since then, he's gotten progressively worse and now is losing memory. He looked at the dog he got for me on my 21st birthday and said, "Wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it?" My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through this. He's been so loving and attentive to both my kids and I. Don't get me wrong, I'm a mother first always. I don't allow myself to wallow. My kids are still loved, cared for, played with, and haven't let my load slack around the house. Once my dad got his updated prognosis, my husband encouraged me to quit my job. About a month later, we discovered we were pregnant again, and I still hadn't let go of my job. I kept holding out for some reason. After finding out I was pregnant again, he assured me it was still okay to quit my job, that honestly it would save us a small fortune on daycare costs anyways. So I did. I quit my job. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family is like my family and vice versa. My mom and her mom grew up together. We've always been solid, and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left, I drove straight to her house and she held me while I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in friend form, she was mine. Thick as thieves is what my mom used to say. This morning as I was up with my 3-year-old, he's sick, my husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few he sets, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off, rolled over and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the reminder of his alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said, "I'm assuming since there hasn't been an angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet." Time froze in that moment. I took his phone and walked away and just read their conversations. 4 months this man has been fucking my best friend. 4 months these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're going to say. You should have seen the warning signs. But I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He has been so loving and attentive to me, but he always has been. So kind and gentle. There have been no late night work nights except for once in a blue moon. There has been no lingering touches between them or even glances. They act as they have since the day I first introduced them. How sick is that? She calls him her brother, but she screws him. I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today, I just need this last 24 hours of peace. As for her, I won't give her the satisfaction of a response. I don't care why she did it. She did it and it's done. I was always the friend who cleaned up her messes. After today, I will cut her out of my life like she never mattered at all. This has to be the hardest storm I'll ever weather, but damn it, I know I'll sail through it. If not for me, for my children.
That just took 5 years off my life.
Oh, holy crap.
So much loss.
I mean, that's gotta be one of the roughest ones we've read on here. Everything happened to her. Absolutely everything.
Everything is happening to her.
Is happening to her. Yes. This was yesterday. This is happening right now. I think what always hits me is that I'm often thinking like, this happened like months ago or like years ago. They're in a different place now. This is happening to this woman right now.
She told him today. According to her,
Yeah.
so she
I know
told
what I
him
have to do
Convocation
now.
happened- did it happen today?
Today I just need this last 24 hours of peace. So, yeah, right now.
They could be talking right now.
Right now.
Like literally right now.
Comments. Screenshot and save those messages before he could delete them. She said, I did. I emailed everything to myself in an old email I haven't used since high school and don't keep saved in my apps. That way, if he goes through my phone, he doesn't find it. I'm not a very good liar or good at keeping a poker face, but since he woke up, I've just been using the excuse that I'm upset about my dad and just need space. He bought it. I called around for a couple of lawyers and found one before he woke up. So I've been emailing them back and forth for the last half an hour.
Oh my God.
I hope you have a separate bank account with your own emergency fund stashed. If not, please use the time now to create one and put some funds there that he doesn't have access to. This goes for credit cards too if yours are only connected to joint accounts. She said, thankfully we signed a prenup and I've always been a very big saver, where he's always been a huge spender. So when I got my inheritance at 24 from my mom, I never touched it and it's just been growing interest he doesn't know about. I'll also be getting my childhood home when my dad goes, which I hope it's not for a while, but I know the kids and I can move in at any point and he'd welcome us with open arms. Update. Last night. She updated last night. Oh, God. A small
Oh my God.
A small update about everything going on since my kids are now in bed for the night. I spent the morning gathering everything I could and making a checklist. I sat in my office for the better part of the morning telling my husband that I was preparing things for my dad. Not a total lie. I did have to get him sorted with hospice today. My boss would be happy to have me back. However, my lawyer said pump the brakes on that idea for the time being. However, my old boss did tell me that whenever I'm ready, the door is open and to just give her a call. He does not have access to my inheritance from my father nor my mother. My lawyer assured me in that. I didn't mention her in the post, but my mother-in-law is an absolute angel. I love and adore her so much, and she's always been a shoulder to lean on. After he had gone to work for the afternoon, I asked my now ex-best friend's mom and my mother-in-law to meet me at my dad's house. My kids were outside playing with my now ex-best friend's older brother. I just handed them the screenshots, saving them from the unsavory pictures and sex tape. Though I did tell them it existed. Oh, that is To say they were furious was an understatement, and they are on my side completely. Angie, my now ex-best friend's mom, is ready to cut contact with her daughter completely. She kept repeating, yeah, people hanging out and said like, oh my God. She kept repeating how sorry she was. We hugged and cried together. My mother-in-law told me she couldn't believe she raised a spineless, terrible human. That no matter what happens, I will always have her, and as far as she's concerned, she doesn't have a son, only a daughter. After an in-person meeting with my lawyer, we went over finances, logistics, and everything you could think of. She has all the proof, and she's out for blood. With this post now on TikTok, I don't want him to find out by an app because one look at the story and he'd know it was about him. With permission from my lawyer, my ex-best friend, her mom and dad, my soon-to-be ex, and his parents will be having a get-together tomorrow. By the time they're sitting down and showing them everything that I know, my dad, my kids, and my ex-best friend's brother, he's coming to help me juggle the kids and my dad, being big and pregnant doesn't help with mobility, will be at my dad's cabin a few hours away, enjoying time and space. I know a lot of people were hoping for me to get revenge or do psychological warfare, but honestly, after my kids went to bed, I took a shower and just broke. I don't have the strength or energy to dish anything out. I just want out. Pretending like everything was okay today was too exhausting, and I just don't want to do it. Once he finds out tomorrow, I'll update with the aftermath. As I'm sure it will be huge. As for now, thank you all so much for your kindness, warmth, and support. Truly, your words have helped me, give me strength to keep my head above water. I appreciate every single last one of you for everything.
Holy
Why
crap.
couldn't we film this tomorrow so that we'd have the update?
Yeah.
Update.
No!
Oh, yes! God's plan. God's plan.
Yo!
Let's go! Oh my God.
Before we walked into here, Kiana was like, an update just dropped.
Done.
So this update hit right as we started filming.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So this is happening right now.
Everybody shut up! Be quiet.
We are essentially live streaming.
You better
through the
read
Am
this
I the Asshole?
nicely.
Okay. Okay, I have no idea what's about to happen.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with much awaited update. For my typing sake, I'm going to give everyone fake names, so for context. Mother-in-law and father-in-law, Ruth and Joe. Ex-best friend's parents, Angie and Bob. This is like a play. Ex-best friend, Jess. Soon to be ex, Tyler. Ex-best friend's brother, Jake. And I'll just refer to my dad as Dad. I have a few things I wanted to get through, so I'll just summarize as best I can, and if you have any questions, I'll answer in the comments. To get this out of the way, because to me it feels important, yesterday I scheduled a same-day appointment with my OBGYN and got tested for just about every STD, STI out there. I got results back and they were all negative. There's a few that take up to 2 weeks to get the results back for, so I'll be waiting on those. When I met with my lawyer, I brought everything on my end financially wise, including the wills from both my dad and my mom, and I managed to get my hands on his financial documents. He stores his in his office in a locked box. I also brought over everything we had set up financially for my children. While I'm not totally sure if it's everything, I'm pretty confident I got most of it. My lawyer was happy I managed to get my hands on that much. Ruth even handed over her will to me from both her and Bob to ensure I was taken care of in the divorce. My lawyer understands I am wanting a divorce immediately. However, she wants to make sure she is thorough and isn't missing any key info. So hopefully I'll have an actual divorce papers to give him in about 30 days. I'm not rushing her though. I'm letting the professional do her job. Now for the sit down. I asked Angie and Ruth to describe everything in detail on what happened. Angie, the revenge seeker that she is, forced them to sit through a slideshow she put together of all the texts. Holy shit. I know a lot of you were concerned about one of them telling them sooner than later, but they were so secretive they didn't even tell their significant others about what was happening. Once the slideshow ended, Tyler tried lunging for Jess and Joe actually had to force him to sit down. Tyler was shouting profanities at Jess and telling her she will regret this. Jess started crying and begging her parents for forgiveness. Bob looked at his daughter in the eye and told her he will never forgive her for this. Blood or not, she is no daughter of his. He didn't raise his daughter to be this person. Jess has always been a daddy's girl, so I think that cut her pretty deep. Jess is in the middle of a divorce herself, and her parents were giving her money for her lawyer, and they told her she is cut off from them both financially and physically. Tyler's dad was irate. According to Ruth, he looked like he was holding back on throttling him. From there, Tyler went straight home. I know because we have a Ring doorbell camera along with a few cameras in the house for our kids to keep an eye on them when we aren't right next to them. Tyler came home and saw that most of mine and the kids' stuff was gone and he lost it. Started yelling and throwing things. The house is now trashed with a few holes in the walls for decoration. When he didn't find us there, he went to my dad's. While I did spend most of the day, he was at work packing and moving things into my dad's house. We were already at his cabin. Tyler took a baseball bat to my dad's door, trying and failing to break it down. My dad's neighbor actually called the cops on him, and he was arrested. His parents refused to bail him out. I had an appointment with my... This is fucking insane!
What? Oh my God!
Someone's on the toilet right now like, oh! Is that you? I had an appointment with my therapist today. I've had one for a year now since I was struggling with my dad, and it felt good just to cry it out and let everything out about how I was feeling. The therapist was like, oh! It was very helpful, and she gave me a few tools to work through my emotions with this one. I felt very grounded and empowered leaving my session today.
The tool is just a gun.
Here's the tool, a sword. I'm also planning on setting up my children with a therapist when we get back from the cabin to figure out the best way to deal with telling them. I know people said I shouldn't, but I will be telling them, just in an age-appropriate way. I don't want there to be secrets and lies between us. I've always been as open and honest as I can with them. Again, in a most kid-appropriate way. Just because they're small humans, they're still humans and still deserve the truth. I had a handful of comments telling me I should stay and every man cheats. I should work things out because most of our marriage was good. I refuse to believe all men cheat. My parents were married for 20 years, and after my mom passed, my dad never moved on. I watched my dad love my mom for 12 of those years and cherish her. I will not accept anything less than that kind of love. He never cheated, nor did she. While I'm not sure when I'll be ready to move on, falling in love is absolutely the last thing on my mind at the moment. I refuse to let Tyler win and destroy love for me completely. I will move on from this. Jess started blowing up my phone, demanding I fix this situation, and immediately blaming me. My lawyer told me to not block texts just in case they spill out additional info I was missing. She was playing the poor me card very hard. The thing is, though, I never influenced Angie and Bob to cut contact with their daughter. They made that choice on their own. She actually started blaming me for stealing the love of her life. I introduced them when Tyler and I started dating, so not sure where that came from, and that Tyler's is only with me for the kids. Honestly, I knew she was just trying to hurt me at that point. I didn't give her the satisfaction of responding, though. Between her and Tyler, I have about 200 missed calls.
Whoa.
Tyler went from begging and pleading me to forgive him. Like I said, I didn't have divorce papers to hand him, so he's stuck in this unknown gray area. I also asked Angie and Ruth to not say anything about the divorce to him yet, purely just for my satisfaction, honestly. I know it's slightly petty, but keeping him in that gray area of not knowing is my small revenge to him. To threatening to call the cops on me for kidnapping, telling me Jess wasn't the only one. Bingo, just what I was looking for. To telling me I'm a stuck-up bitch, to threatening me, to back to begging me for forgiveness. Honestly, it was just a whiplash reading those texts. I'd be lying in saying if those texts didn't hurt me and terrify me all at once, but I refuse to let them break me. As for both of them together, I don't think he is going to stay with her. I think he blames her for blowing up our marriage, honestly. Who knows, though? They deserve each other. I was initially okay to do a 50-50 split with Tyler for custody, but after his reaction, I don't feel comfortable with that, so I'll likely be going for full custody. Jake has about 30 days of leave he's saved up, and he's going to be using them to help the kids and I get settled at my dad's house, and honestly to be there in case Tyler tries showing up going crazy again. He's been such a big help to the kids and I lately, and I'm forever in his debt for this. Last night after the kids went to bed, he hooked up his Xbox and we played a game called Diablo 4 together. I don't know why it's so funny. Have you played Diablo 4? To play Diablo 4 to help me take my mind off of things. It was fun. However, he did sort of confess that he's always had feelings for me somewhere in the midst of things, but also told me to not say or do anything back. He understands a relationship or anything like that isn't on my mind and won't be for a while. He isn't wrong, but just that he's felt that way since we were teenagers and just wanted to get it off his chest. Thank you again. Seriously, your comments, your support, your messages, all of it has been one giant breath of fresh air. Just knowing I had a whole online community willing to go to bat for me has kept me treading water these last couple days. Your comments have popped in my head when I felt like just giving up on leaving him because it's so hard and gave me so many great points and helpful advice. I know I deserve more and I can't accept his actions. And to the people who commented relating to my situation, my heart goes out to all of you. This pain is awful and I hate that so many of you can relate, but your stories have resonated deep within me. You all keep commenting me for my strength, and my personal favorite is telling me how proud of me you are. Every time I see those words, I start to tear up. I'm blaming the pregnancy hormones. Your words have helped put me at ease, so that way I could do what I knew I needed to do. So I'll leave this here for now. If anything of importance happens when I go back home, I'll update further. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Wow. The amount of goosebumps and chills I've gotten has caused my hair to grow an entire inch.
I just lived 4 lives.
That's happening right now. This isn't from months ago. This is right now.
That is so crazy. I am so happy for her, the support that she has gotten. Yeah. And like, it is so typical that the cheaters, of course, weren't expecting any kind of consequences like this. And the OP literally discovered all of this by such like an insensitive text. There's not an angry pregnant woman at my doorstep, so I'm assuming you haven't told her. What did they think was gonna happen? What did they think was going
That's what I always wonder with people in affairs. I'm like,
yeah, they don't understand cause and effect. They don't understand the impact that they have because they're selfish people. Yeah. And it's so sad that so many people are like, well, you should just stay. All men cheat. But like, I feel so bad for those people because they are really deserve better. All of those people deserve better. And she's gotten like the best case scenario out of all of this. And she's so strong.
yeah. Dude, she is strong as hell, because holy shit in the midst of her also losing her dad. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That alone is like, you're strong for holding yourself together. And this?
Yeah.
Dude, she's gonna be made of titanium for the rest of her life.
She's a superhero.
Like,
This is as close as it gets.
people are gonna try to hurt her feelings. She's like, I want you to stop right there. let me show you a Reddit story.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy, like, the way that both her exes and her ex-best friend's parents acted. Because, like, you hear some of these stories and, like, then the parents of the people who did the shitty thing side with their shitty child. And it's, like, because they just can't get it through their head that their child would ever do something wrong. And it makes me very, like, happy to hear that both sets of parents were like, what the fuck is wrong with our kids?
This was, honestly, this is kind of rare as far as the Reddit stories we've read here. Usually whenever someone like has like an asshole sibling or like an asshole like partner, parents a lot of times in these stories side with the person.
Yeah.
And try to defend it and deny and just go, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. This is a very unique response, and it's very cool to see. I mean, I'm so glad she does have a network of people who are supporting her, and damn, she got everything in line quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, that's so crazy to me that just like from the moment she saw the text, she was like, this, like, I'm getting everything ready so that like in 24 hours, it all blew up and she was completely set and sorted with a lawyer.
She was also
gone.
She was so smart. She's handled it so wisely, and the friend is f***ed up by texting her a bunch of shit that she can then use for the lawyers.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
dude.
and now her now ex was like, Jess wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And the fact, and also like, and then going and taking a baseball bat to a door and getting arrested. It's like, you guys just
Jesus
completely.
Christ. Also, Jess was getting divorced from her husband. So like, they were planning to end. Like, were they planning to go and be
that's
together?
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
and
I
then
don't know.
and then blaming OP for ruining her marriage is hilarious to me.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
Blaming everyone else but themselves for they did the wrong thing.
Yeah. It scares me.
I'm like almost sweating from that
I
one.
did
Yeah,
sweat.
I am
I've
sweating,
sweated.
Yeah.
It scares me, but like, I don't.
It scares me because she said like, and I believe her, like that
Yeah.
her husband was a genuine, like loving and caring person and seemed like an amazing guy and that there were no signs. And that's what scares me, that like someone who presents as such a good person could be capable of something so incredibly shitty.
Asshole.
Today I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who let me tell you is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped in my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes were. That'd be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato came to my plate, I acted very interested. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was saying, "Oh, interesting, baked, what is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato? Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what a potato is. So I knew I'd be very shamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I never heard of a potato? I went with it and told them yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit, and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is was when their parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something like, "Enough is enough. You're f***ing with us. Admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today, I had never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "Tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said I should get the out of his house, and I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I'd never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages, I have been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I'd never started it, but I can't go back. I think she'll break up with me anyway.
Oh my God.
I love this.
This is a I think you should leave sketch.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know what a potato is.
Is.
Tastes
It's
very
one-
strange.
Tastes very strange.
Get the out.
The response is also like,
Because
get
I-
the out of my
Yeah.
house.
And then the girlfriend just goes to another room. She's like,
Crying.
but I actually totally understand why he had to commit. Because
Oh, yeah.
it was too, he couldn't at the end of the day be like, yeah, I was just with you. They would have been like, great, go home.
Yeah.
He had to commit so hard and be like, wow, you're going to throw me out because I don't know what a potato is? Like, I love this person.
This
I love
is
him
such
too.
a stupid
Such a
story.
funny bit. Like my parents would have loved that bit if they were like, "You don't know what a potato is?"
Oh,
you're just
well, to be
joking."
fair, also, this is something you would do.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like at some point, you would definitely do this, be like, I don't know what a
I've never heard of a potato. Inspired.
Why
don't
didn't the
know.
parents just go, okay, and just like let it be?
And then he would have been like, "You're right. I'm joking. Thanks for the laugh. Move on."
These parents suck.
It's the parents'
What's the
fault.
update?
There's no update.
Potatoes will forever
So
go
here's some
unknown.
comments. Invite your girlfriend to meet your parents. Have your father take her aside and ask if potatoes were served at the dinner with her parents. When she says yes, he looks alarmed, mutters something about wanting to keep them from him, and never mentions the subject again.
Wait, that's brilliant.
So funny. When confronted about this horrible joke, insist it never happened with the same level of commitment. Maybe they will just think you have a brain disorder.
No.
Someone else said, send them a bouquet of potatoes as an apology. Now, this story's been widely considered fake. Even if it's fake, it's an incredible sketch. I love this.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't feel fake to me though.
Even if it's fake, I don't mind if things are fake if it's very silly and stupid.
Yes.
Where I care if it's fake is if they're saying something like very serious and intense. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, don't make fake stories
Or
about
harmful. And
Yeah,
I
this
love
is-
that he's committing too till the end.
I
this-
want to know where he is.
You should know the popular What's a Potato Reddit post story is 100% fake and lifted from the pilot of Andy Samberg's show Cuckoo. Oh, so this is a Andy Samberg sketch. Well, I love it. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that his dreams of becoming a successful streamer / content creator isn't going to work out the way he thinks? I'm posting this on a throwaway account because I don't want this drama stuff on my main body mod centered account. If it's not allowed, I understand. I'm a tattoo artist and piercer. I co-own and run a tattoo / piercing business with a friend, and I have many employees under me. We are open 6 days a week from 1 p.m. to midnight. 4 days are a regular appointment schedule, while the final 2 days of the work week are walk-in days for people who want something faster than usual without having to set up a time. On top of setting up and closing the shop every day, I drive 45 minutes to work and then 45 minutes home each day. I get home past 3 a.m. almost every night, eat, and then sleep a few hours. We are busy constantly throughout the week. I only have 1 day off, and I usually end up spending it cleaning the house, cooking, or doing anything else needed done. My boyfriend, on the other hand, is trying to become a successful Twitch streamer and YouTuber. He started around 4 years ago. He has a few dozen followers on both platforms and usually has around 2 to 5 viewers for each stream or video. It's gotten pretty bad in the past 2.5 years or so, though. He streams while I'm at work, and that'll usually be an 11 to 13-hour stream a day, depending on what he does. His life revolves around content creation now. He wakes up to stream, then spends all day streaming a game, and then uploads it to YouTube. The other problem with it is that in the 4 years he's been trying to do this, he hasn't worked a single job. He's unemployed. No single donation or any monetary expense has come from his endeavor. He literally does nothing but stream. He quit his floor manager job at Walmart to become this. I've talked to him recently about maybe cutting down the hours on his streams so he has time to do stuff around the house, spend time with me, or better his health. He doesn't even eat unless I remind him when I get home late. It's literally hurting him. I also explained that maybe he should think about getting a new job so I'm not the only one paying all the bills or groceries. I'd like help of any kind. I can't do all this anymore. I can't do all of this alone anymore. Each one of these talks has turned into a fight between us. He will get super defensive about it and tell me off. He tries to convince me that I don't understand his lifestyle and that I don't know how hard it is to be a content creator. It's gotten more and more heated. He'll have a tantrum and go back to streaming to his community that supports him. The other day, I straight up told him his dreams of being a successful streamer or content creator of any kind were never going to work out the way he thinks they are. He doesn't seem to understand that the hours he's putting in are doing more harm than good. For us and him, he had another tantrum and promptly told me he wanted a break from the relationship. We aren't talking, and now he's doing nothing but the same usual routine. Am I the asshole? Yeah. You know, I will say, like, we did Twitch for a while. It's sincerely one of the hardest jobs.
No, yeah.
And like, what's fascinating is, I think it's like the majority of Twitch streamers have like 0 to 1 viewer.
Yeah,
like,
well, it's especially saturated right now. And like even a few years ago when my younger brother was trying to get into it, new streamers, in order to get any kind of traction, they need to like stream like 12 hours a day. But after 4 years,
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, she's declared not the asshole, and I do agree. Like, where she's coming from, I see it. I think she's justified. She is alone. I think if he worked a different job than this, and he was working 11 to 13-hour days, but like at a company where he was never going to get promoted, I would also understand being like, hey, you got to stop this. Like, this isn't going to work for our life. She's telling him honestly, like, this doesn't work for our relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a relationship that's like super mutually beneficial. She's 100% supporting him in his dream and has been for a long time, paying for them, helping him literally feed himself. Like, I've known people that they forget to eat, forget to shower, they forget to take care of themselves because it's gaming. And like, I think, yes, streaming is a big element to it, but like sometimes people just are addicted to gaming, and it can be like a thing too.
Yeah, you know, there's not even an offer, and I mean, we're not there for this their conversation fight, but there's not even an offer of a compromise of like, you're right, I'll get a part-time job, I'll stream on these days, and try to like, and you know, it is a profession, and it's not just sitting there and playing games. Like, you have to think strategy to this. You have to think like, what's he doing as far as like trying to market himself and build this out, as opposed to just filming and uploading. It's not just that. Like, I feel like most people know that now with
it's
YouTube.
So much more than that. Like, you have to put in so much other work, and there's so many different, like, you have to have a social presence, you have to have a whole backlog of content, and like, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of, like, I have a lot of friends that are Twitch streamers, and they'll have, you know, upwards of 400 to 500 average viewers, and they still work regular jobs. Like, they still like will go do, like, they have a day job that they go and they stream a few times a week, like, after they finish their job, because like, it's really hard to have your entire income be from that, like, to fully support yourself. Even for streamers that have bigger audiences, it is really hard, and there has to come a point when you're like, I need to do something, I need to support my partner in our relationship, like, and not be fully provided for, like, by them.
She said something that was harsh to him, but it's not like she said it out of the blue. Like, she had tried to have this conversation with him a bunch of times, and it sounds like he needs to go and try and support himself and like understand how much she's been doing for him.
Yeah, you know, he can continue to try to do this on the side, but yeah. So we have a bunch of comments here. Someone says, 4 years, OP? Okay, you've been pretty patient. He's had time to lay the groundwork for his streaming career and it hasn't taken off, so you've been more than understanding. At the minimum, he needs to be taking care of himself and cleaning up the house if he's not going to be able to contribute to the household. Most streamers, until they hit bigger numbers, still have normal jobs and normal daytime routines. In fact, I just watched a video from Cece Suarez where she explicitly says, do not quit your day job until you can support the lifestyle. Gaming streamers have created a massively diluted market, and unless they have some kind of hook or incredibly entertaining streaming style / personality, it's going to be very hard to break through and find monetary success. Who's the owner of the home? If he wants a relationship break, then he needs to go do his own thing elsewhere. Otherwise, I'd start charging him rent, and if he can't pay because of no cash flow, then the hard truth is he'll have to leave. He's acting very selfish, expecting you to carry you both indefinitely. Not the asshole OP. If you guys are doing this relationship break thing, time to set some firm and hard boundaries and expectations.
Yeah.
She responds, he's not taking care of himself. He seems to think he needs to do this without expecting some sort of toll on himself. He thought he could instantly become successful at it. I'm the owner of the house. I own everything here, even the car. Not the asshole. So during this break, is he still living with you? Because that's not really a break. I definitely recommend dumping him and never looking back. He acts like he's a child and you're his parents and responsible for paying for his food and shelter. Please date an adult next time. Your life will improve dramatically. She responded, yes, he's still living in the house. I love him to pieces, but I'm having a hard time caring at this point. He provides nothing anymore. Not the asshole. 4 years and still not being able to gain any monetary value from it sounds like a hobby to me. Hobbies don't pay the bills. OP, it's been 4 years of paying bill after bill. I tend to agree. I think this guy has to figure his shit out. Like, it sucks. She is absolutely not the asshole. And that's brutal. Like, he's not doing anything. Little small update here. Hello, everyone. I have another opportunity to read all the comments. I am astounded at the attention the post has gotten in the past few hours. I feel like I should give some sort of update. I took the general advice that I was given by many of you. I sat my boyfriend down and told him I also wanted a break. We've broken up on mutual agreement. He's going to go his way and I'm going to go mine. He's moving out by the middle of June. So by the time this is out, then I guess they're broken up. Yeah. It sounds like it's right. It sucks. It sucks. Like, that was his dream. But he has to realize that's not everything. It's also not everything.
Yeah.
Like, man, like, he could become successful, he could maintain, and then realize, like, that's not happiness. Like, there's a life outside of things.
And it's something that you can balance too. Like, you can go get a full-time job and still like do that as a hobby and still like, feed that passion of yours if it is a passion. But yeah, to just spend that long and that many hours a day and buckle down on that being what you have to do.
It's also not a healthy amount of streaming hours.
No, that's a lot of sitting down. He might get some cysts in his ass.
No, that's not. It doesn't sound like he had a plan.
You're the biggest fan of this show.
I watch this whenever I do my makeup. I know all the canon.